are you? Welcome back to the Netherkast! I was honestly going to just try and keep going until somebody interrupted me. Thank you.
Your time is up. My time is now.
All right. I am Black Cyborg, joined, as always, by temporary username Razor's Edge and Shadowloo. And we have a special guest this week, Sub-Zero the 7th from MKO.
Good evening.
So, how long have you been going to forums?
Let's see. I joined MK Online when it was mk5.org. That was back in 2002. So I've been a member there for 13 years, which is pretty scary.
Indeed. It is very scary. Too scary. One thing I want to mention real quick, guys.
It's not that scary.
I know, but I mean, it's, yeah.
More like shameful.
Well, yeah.
I feel kind of sad about how long I was there.
A shame that we can all relate to. Unfortunately, though not so much
about it, but
not so much these days because I don't even visit the MKX section much anymore after just too many emotional posts towards me, and yeah, it just got kind of to that point where I was just like, you know what? It seems like every time I say something, it just leads to a bunch of craziness. So.
You can say crybabies. It's full of crybabies.
Sure. Just very...
It's always full of crybabies. He's referring to the one specifically targeting him for some reason.
That's true. But one thing I wanted to mention real quick right off the bat was I put up a video today. A very special video where I spoke in Spanish to an Italian trailer.
And most of the commenters didn't get the joke.
Yes, it's clearly April Fool's Day. I think most of them knew it was April Fool's Day, and yet they're still like, how did you not know this was... Of course it's not Spanish.
You were speaking in a foreign language.
It wouldn't have been... What would the joke be if I spoke in Italian? That's just me trying to be... It's clearly... The joke was I got the language wrong, and I wanted to see how many people would point that out, and you fell for it.
I didn't even notice the trailer was Italian. My first comment after watching it was, Ermac's voice sounds better in Spanish. It has more echo.
See, I didn't even have a chance to, interpret it for myself, because I got it off the forums, and the first person that posted it says Italian, the Italian trailer, so it wasn't even up to interpretation for me, so yeah, clearly, but that's what's funny, is even my title is in in Spanish, when the title of the video is in Italian, it doesn't match up at all. And if you go to the description, you'll see April Fools in both Spanish and Italian, but I don't know how many people actually clicked on it to look down, or any of that. It was just supposed to be fun, guys, just something for April Fools, a joke. When I woke up and saw the trailer, I was like, you know what, let's do something funny with this, because I didn't expect a trailer today, so I would have, we wanted to do something, but I don't know, we never decided exactly what we were going to do, so I just figured I'll just do this.
There was a brief period where we thought we'd end the show with a big, verbal argument where we act like we're breaking up and ending the show, which I thought would have been fun, because then, we could have ended on the song, Last Week Kyle Quit the Band.
Yeah, we thought of a couple ideas, but, maybe next year. No, but seriously.
Will become so
shut the fuck up, Shadowloo! Shut the fuck up! Get out of here!
Shit, you
no,
Yankee fuck.
No, you fuck! Oh, Yankee fuck! Yankee fuck! Take your fucking clippers and get the fuck out of here!
Oh my god!
Oh, we got alarm clocks now? Who's all... Okay.
Wonderful!
Alright. Yeah, let's just make more noise. Is that you?
Back to the tremor render.
Oh, okay. Yeah, real mature. I did it once, and you won't let me live it down.
Guys, can we not do this in front of Sub-Zero 7th?
Oh my gosh.
You're tearing this family apart.
Getting loud, folks. Getting loud.
Dude, I totally miss you.
I didn't want to do this today. Jeez. I'm not talking to you anymore for the rest of the episode, Shadow. I'm not. Razor, can you tell Shadowloo that...
Cyborg says,
Tell him.
fuck everybody who's not America and Canada, I guess.
Yeah, you sound like you're across the room, so nobody can hear you.
I thought you weren't talking to him, Cyborg.
Yeah, well, shut up, Temp. Don't get into this with me, us.
Well, the thing you have to understand, Cyborg, is fuck you.
You know what? Mojo was right. I was intentionally cutting you off all of these years. It started in 2007. I plotted.
Oh, I know. I was there. I
Yeah.
was listening.
You... Oh my... You're right.
This guy.
You son of a bitch. Damn it! You fucked me for the last time. People are probably so confused and don't know what to think. Alright.
Are we gonna talk about Mortal Kombat this week? I can't
Oh
remember.
my god, with the Mortal Kombat. You take one episode. Can we just not talk about Mortal Kombat for one episode? Jeez.
It's always about MK with this guy.
I like the old
get it.
plot
Well,
line
let's
better.
talk about teddy
Yeah.
bears instead.
People keep saying...
I'm just saying, it's not called, like, the Iron Galaxy cast or the
Well,
Cap cast.
you know what?
We're-
People keep complaining that we're not positive enough. So if they want us to be positive, we got to talk about something else. Because I have nothing to say positive about Mortal Kombat.
I got some positivity. I feel really positive about how much I hate Baraka and all his fans.
Oh, jeez. Cans of worms everywhere. Cans of worms.
Fuck Kano fans.
Oh my... I'm...
Really?
Need
Kano
an
fans?
adult-
That's the last go you'll have at me, mate.
Nice.
All right.
Smoke.
All right.
Smokes pansy ass fans.
We're
Fuck all y'all.
kidding. Save
I-
save the comments because people are already gonna.
They're gonna happen.
They're
We
already.
don't have a choice in that.
That's
No.
the joke.
That's the joke. All right.
Did you deliberately sound more Canadian for that?
That was more Canadian? What? Honestly?
Well, the accent sounded exaggerated. Like you could have ended that sentence with the word hoser.
That's the joke, holes. That sounded Canadian to you? That was like
That's more
so deep Arnold.
That's like
something you're doing
Austrian.
Arnold. It
That's what I
completely
was going
changed.
for.
Well, it sounded Canadian the first time. I don't know.
Okay, so my Arnold is convincing, but like my McBain is Canadian. Oh yeah, I can live with that. I can deal.
Oh my gosh, you guys! Can we just get to the damn podcast already?
Were we gonna do that? I don't.
Oh my, jeez! I've
I
been
don't know
waiting
anymore.
through all this nonsense.
But nothing happened this week.
Nothing. Not really much did happen, to be honest with you. There's like a comic
Yeah.
or something, I guess.
Yeah, maybe, but
All right. Let's go in order here. So the chapter 1 video on IGN, I guess, would be first. So what is everybody's thoughts on the chapter 1 intro video and Johnny Cage and all that nonsense and the Fujins and the Raidens and the Smokes?
Oh?
Smokes. Does that like
Smoke is dead.
trigger
He is
anything?
an Enra.
Yeah, right?
That's right.
Not an Enra, just an Enra. Like that's his name now.
All right, I'll start it off. I'll say Fujin looked pretty cool. Sure looked fun.
I loved his specials. Oh, I mean,
Who'd you-
specials as far as their specials, I guess, but
It's what
so
you do in a
gotta be a
cutscene is
model.
not a special, man. It's special.
Well.
It was special watching it, but it was not a special move.
special to me. I like tornadoes.
Everyone's like, is he unlockable because he looks too good to be a normal NPC? And is he after
Well, he
the
does.
storyline? It's
Let's
true.
be real. Fujin was the best thing by far about the whole chapter.
Are we saying that because we want him so badly?
No, he just looked
Objectively?
really fucking good.
He really did.
Like
But I was
everything
also-
else we've kind of seen or is just wearing an MK9 costume.
In terms of
I would
new
say-
costumes and new appearances, maybe, but I don't know, man. Shinnok was rocking my whole fucking
Yeah,
that trailer.
I
He
mean,
really
too.
was.
Shinnok was pretty
Shinnok was
impressive.
really good too. I really like the voice they gave him, and even like he only appears for like 5 minutes worth of dialogue, and yet it's all got so much character to it. Like he's going on about how death is the inevitable end of life, and he's really giving off that whole "I rule hell" vibe.
Yep.
And it's, he's never really had that much of a personality in his few past appearances. So it's nice to see him actually have, like, a character and, like, a motivation and, like, a personality.
And he's also coming across as, like, the alternately calm and collected type, and extremely skillful, and shifting into the verging on
I like when
manic
Johnny
rage.
attacked him, and he just, like, breaks down into swearing,
It's
like, how
precisely,
dare
it's
you,
like,
you...
Insignificant
Gosh darn it.
speck of feculent scum. Feculent scum. Holy shit!
That's
I love
how
what they're
God
doing.
Called him a
say
shit
piece of
stain,
shit.
basically.
They gotta use
Yeah.
the big words.
An insignificant fleck of shit. It's wonderful. And those one-handed blocks, not even looking, beautiful, making him actually out.
Oh, man, the Neo moment.
No, that
Fucking amazing.
that was from Terminator. It's not from Matrix.
You're from Terminator. Shut up.
No, I'm not. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't have to.
This doesn't change the fact that you're wrong.
Just jump in the lava and put your thumb up.
Yeah, just like Scorpion did.
Oh, man.
Do it.
It made me think of Castle Crashers where they recreated that.
Yeah, it's in there too. Now I want to play Castle Crashers, damn it.
All right.
Now I want to see Takeda say, I order you not to go, Scorpion. I order you not to go.
He's got the
So,
whiny voice for it.
so Temp, what do you
Now
think?
I know why you cry, but it's something I can never do.
So how about Smoke? Does anybody get...
Smoke's costume makes no fucking sense, because he didn't die in that costume. And
Well,
if
half
he's
of
gonna
them
be-
didn't die. Like, Stryker didn't... Stryker never wears his t-shirt costume in story mode. You notice
They just-
that?
No,
I think
that's
that they
dumb
just-
too, I agree.
They just
And how
picked
come
whichever
some of them
ones looked
are
cooler.
in new costumes? Like, the playable ones got new duds. But everybody else
Quanji
is just
has
wearing the
favorites.
same old shit. Like, Quan Chi
It's
was
probably
turning
like-
them into monsters going, I want you to look cooler. Nah, I don't care about you that much, Nightwolf. Jax, let's have those arms take over your torso. Smoke, nah, who cares?
Smoke has
And you know,
one
Nightwolf
new
Picking
detail on
and
him.
choosing.
Smoke has one new detail on him. He's got like a pair of little straps just above his pecs that lead up to his shoulders. That's literally it. Apart from that, he's a noob cybot with yellow eyes.
Are you sure those are new?
Yeah, I was like going back and forth pretty possessively with his MK9 alt and the new one, and that's like the only new detail added to him, pretty much.
There's so many belts and plates on that MK9 outfit, who can tell? I guess you can, but I can't.
Seventh brings up a good point with Nightwolf, though, because with Smoke, at least he kind of fits in next to Jax. Nightwolf looks so out of place in that costume. Even Stryker doesn't look as bad as Night. Like, I love that costume for Nightwolf, but it just sticks out like a sore thumb to me.
I feel like Nightwolf got a consolation prize in that he's got those, like, demonic axes. And the red lightning. Like, I kind of like how all of their powers have turned hellish.
Well, we
The
get to
axes
see a
did
little
look
bit of that
good.
with Cabal. Because Cabal's looking basically sort of unchanged, maybe a little bit more angly
Well,
or twisted
His
slightly.
scars glow.
That's about it. I was hoping for something a bit more special. Some red fireballs and shit.
Well, obviously Cabal is not one of Quan Chi's favorites.
Either that or Quan Chi was on a limited budget, that Shinnok gave him.
Just ran out of supplies. Just ran out of shit. Well,
How much did I
I don't
put
know.
in
Like,
Jax's
Smoke
arms?
bodies
Oh,
Quan
we're
Chi
done.
in the matchup. So there's probably some bitterness there. I think Smoke bodies Quan Chi like 7-3.
You can see where he ran out of material as he was costuming them. It was right at Sindel's sleeves. Because she's wearing half an old costume and half a new costume.
Which looks good, though. I do really like the way she looks, to be honest with you.
Mm.
She does look pretty tight.
It's okay. I don't have any complaints about it. I just think it's, like, funny that some of them have it and some of them don't, and then she's, like, just the arms.
That aside,
just-
though, she was pretty convincing getting us to think that all of them would actually have some new material or something varied amongst them, and sad it's not the case.
It was really heavy watching Smoke be an NPC. There was always the old question, would you rather the character be gone, or would you rather be them an NPC and not be playable? It wasn't
I
fun
feel
watching
like it's,
Smoke just be unimportant. And
Just ever since like those guys went to that brief and said that Smoke may or may not have a new outfit or like a new mask, I was just keeping that hope alive, that last dwindling bit of hope, and nope, it's dead now, and I agree.
There was some conflicting reports that said, no, it's not a new outfit, it's just his MK9 alternate, and they don't know. So, I wasn't that surprised, but I'm kind of disappointed. The thing that seems weird to me is to have him go, I am an Enra, and he doesn't actually use any smoky moves in the whole cutscene.
Cage
Which is teleports.
Well, yeah, that's it. You see him teleport, but that's about it.
Well, and also,
It's
like,
MK9
if Rain... Yeah, pretty much. It's just a revamp of the MK9. Even a revamp is kind of a strong word, but I figured if Rain's an NPC and he got a new costume, I figured this would be a good opportunity to do the whole Mortal Kombat Deception Smoke costume, you know? But they didn't go that direction.
Well, you know, he got that one line that's hinting that actually something has indeed happened with him after dying, and is an Enra. I don't know how much that is actually the Enra fused with him. I don't know how much of that is actually Quan Chi's control over him. I do look forward to still seeing in the future at some point, hopefully, how much of Tomas Bobat is still in there. It's enough to tide me over until then. If I can't have him be playable at the very least. So bitter.
It does bring up a question for the 26th character for me, because if we see all this shit now, and the 26th character ends up being Shinnok or Jax, that would seem really strange to me. It's like, well, why lock them up to begin with, you know? If it's not going to be a surprise, why have a 26th... Well, yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, I don't think it's anybody we've seen at all. I think it's going to be something completely unexpected, in quotes.
Same here. I can't see them, like, showing us these people on the select screen, and then having the finished product come out, and... Oh, wait, they're all blacked out now. I wonder who could be there.
Well, not even just that. I don't think it's going to be anybody that you're expecting that we've seen in story mode thus far. I don't expect it to be Fujin or Bo or anything like that. I think it's just going to be something off the wall. Somebody new, somebody completely, like, I don't know, some new version of Shao Kahn or possibly Havoc if his story pans out, though the comic's still quite a ways before the actual game takes place, so who the hell knows if it could be Havoc or what role he'd play, but I don't know. I don't expect it to be anybody that people are, like, clamoring for. I think it's just going to be somebody completely unexpected in not even in a great way. I don't know.
It's very suspicious that they put Shinnok in, like, the... Whoa.
That was
It's very
fucking
suspicious that they
weird.
put Shinnok in the fucking corner. That was like a barrage of just voices, but Shinnok's on the very bottom left corner, and that's a very unlockable looking area. It looks like an area where you would unlock something, so that makes me a little nervous. I don't want to have to play fucking 6 hours of story mode to play Shinnok. I want to just start competing immediately. I want to go straight to training mode, so I don't like that area. It's a very uncomfortable area to put a select screen picture. That's me.
Showing them...
Yeah, you learn quick enough, you can do it in 3.
Showing them dust like that and then just, like, taking away. It'd be the epitome of pointless. They've had, like, videos about the guy, and I think that actually some variation of Shao Kahn's a really, really fair guess, because with all these, like little images of him in the trophy set, and what may be him being grown in the NetherRealm, and, like, the specter of Shao Kahn's really, really looming over MKX's story mode, it looks like to me.
And also, I was just going to say, select screen-wise, that question mark is still there in the top middle, and that makes sense for an unlockable, honestly, if you keep the question mark there. So, I think that's where the unlockable is actually going to be. It's going to replace that randomly question mark space for whatever reason. I
don't know why they go back to having, like, a single random select question mark block there for that specific purpose,
right?
Rather than having to slide up the way they did in MK9. Makes no sense.
I don't think it'll be Shinnok or Liu Kang or any of them. It's definitely going to be. I'm more curious about what's going to be the prize for topping off all the factions. So, because that's
costumes probably.
Hopefully more than one this time.
Flesh Pit Devora, just for you, Tim.
Well, you know, actually, she doesn't look that
naked.
bad, to be honest with you. If you put, like, a wig on her, she's not that bad, like, really. It's just the bugs. Like, when she's not shooting bugs out of her orifices, she's a normal-looking gal. She's not too
You mean her vagina abs?
When they're closed, it's not an issue. It's not problematic.
You'd hit that, but then you'd see the bugs crawling out from underneath the wig, and then you'd be a little bit startled.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I still wouldn't hit it either way. Like, that's
Not even with a fly swatter?
Nah.
All right, well, what else from...
She's the one who would be hitting you. Do you know what an ovipositor is?
What else from the Chapter 1 story thing is worth mentioning and talking about?
Oh, go on.
Well, there was that bit of Raiden used a staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see Raiden, get his staff back. He didn't have it in MK9 anywhere.
It's also kind of worth noting that now we're actually seeing Raiden going up against Shinnok here, and he is once again rocking his MK1 alternate. So his MK1 main costume. So it's not a matter of flashback or anything.
Right.
He just changes clothes. He does laundry like anyone else.
It's just in MK characters can change clothes just like anybody else.
Well, it makes sense that he'd be dressed casually because they attacked him at his house.
Yeah.
He lives in the Sky Temple, so of course it's going to be like...
I am a little confused about, where people are as this fight's going on, because it looks like they're at the Shaolin Temple when Raiden and Fujin are out in the rain fighting, because we even see monks being, carried away by the demons.
Yeah, and the battle starts at the Sky Temple and ends in a cave, which I presume is the Shaolin area, right?
Yeah, there's kind of two caves, because there's also the one Johnny and Kenshi take the portal through, apparently leads to the one where the Jinsei chamber is. Which,
there was a lot of transportation going on in that battle. I don't really understand the geography of it all.
The weird thing is, so the Jinsei chamber is in a cave. Inside the Sky Temple? The Sky Temple, maybe it's underneath the Sky Temple?
Maybe on the 27th floor there's a cave?
Geography is weird to me, that's all I'm saying.
Or something? I'm sure the comic said it was deep underground or something. It's like the core of the earth, or I don't know. Maybe it's the impression.
And by the way, why are the Revenants and a bunch of demons camping in the woods? And, keeping Shaolin monk bodies?
They want to make s'mores.
That's a good
marshmallows.
Delicious
That's
s'mores.
a fair reason.
There you go,
I guess the demons are, keeping them for food. That feels like something Tarkatans would do to me. I don't know why demons would need to eat. They're dead things,
Well, there've been all these references in the past about only eating people all the time, and...
Yeah, but I kind of feel like that's just, pastime, a hobby. They don't actually need food to survive, because... we already know when a demon dies, it just respawns from Serena's backstory.
Plus, have you seen how many dead bodies just littered around everywhere in the Netherrealm? They could be collecting art decoration pieces for all that we know. This would look very lovely up on this spike. Shink.
I feel like what's going on could use a little bit of explanation.
I'm sure we'll get it eventually.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just one of those scenes,
It's just one of those days. Anything else from the Chapter 1 thingy?
Yeah, I was gonna say the very end, actually, where Sonya calls Johnny, the little moment between them, and Johnny smiling, and Kenshi was all confused.
It was very heartwarming, that moment. It
was a cute moment. I wonder if it, is that actually a thing that Sonya never uses his first name? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I was confused. I'm like, what does she call you then? Honey, John, Cage? Does she really call you Cage? What the?
I feel like, for the most part in the comics, she's called him Cage. It's very possible.
I don't think anywhere in MK9 she actually referred to him by name. But I get the impression, or at least I feel like they want me to have the impression that she calls him Cage all the time, and that's the first time she's using his first name in
That's freaking weird. Bitchiness, stuck up, not really stuck up, but just super serious female. Why would she call him Cage under any circumstance? I don't get that.
There are people who call each other by their last name casually.
They're
everybody in the show House is referring to each other by their last names all the time.
Are they not an item at this point? I guess I'm confused.
I don't think they are. I
Yeah,
don't
that's true,
believe
like-
they are.
Okay, because
Like,
I was about to say if they're
Did
like
you know
legitimate
Dr. House's
couple.
first name is Greg? Because you wouldn't if you watched the show.
Greg House.
It doesn't have the same ring to it for sure. I was a little. I mean, I realized that Smoke, Cage, and Sonya probably weren't super close, but I would have liked some acknowledgement of, man, it sucks that Smoke is a demon now. But like, it's like Sonya starts kind of like cracking up a little, and Cage is just like, that's not Jax anymore. And I bet she was like, and also Smoke, and Cage is like, that's not Jax anymore. Like, come on, acknowledge something about Smoke. Say something about Smoke. Anything.
He said
The fact
Smoke.
that- yeah, he
Yeah, he was
literally
like,
just said
"Smoke."
Smoke. That's all he said.
Just been like, I thought that was Noob Cybot. Looking all
Oh
blank.
no, Smoke. That would have been a little better, but
And where the fuck is Cyrax?
Well,
In
he
the
didn't
desert.
die, so why would he be in this game?
I guess. Does
You're
he
gonna get,
not
like-
fight for the good forces still? Like, what is happening here?
Never got free, man.
I
He's
guess,
still in
but-
Clay.
They're off in the temple. They're
Give
calling
me
themselves the
something.
Tekkanen. They're playing ColecoVision. They're clearly busy at this point in time.
There are cyber ninjas in the comic right now. You will see Cyrax within the next couple issues, I'm sure.
How sure?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
You think so?
You want like a rough estimate of an issue number? Like what are we
Yeah.
on? 13?
Yeah.
In the last.
I think you
week's
might
comic-
see Cyrax in 15. How about that?
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not the writer. I don't know, man.
Okay.
You can ask Kittleson on Twitter. I'm sure he'll tell you. He does respond to everybody.
You think he will? You think he'll respond?
I think he might.
He's answered me.
Okay.
Don't ask today because it's still April Fool's, but
Nah, I'm sure we'll see him soon. Hopefully,
Well,
if not,
there was,
the game will be out soon enough at this point.
In this past week's issue of the comic, there was some shady coloring going on again, and there was one of the cyber ninjas was very
yeah, there was a
yellow
slightly
and stuck
yellowish
in, like,
I noticed that last time.
ice block.
Yeah, I noticed
Yeah.
that when he
And
originally
people were like,
froze
that
them.
better not be Cyrax, and he's like, it's not Cyrax.
if it was Cyrax, he'd have more screen time, man. They wouldn't just
Yeah.
one panel not even mention it.
Would they? Would they? Are you
Yes,
sure?
I'd like to think so, because Kittleson's a good writer. I mean, if the guys who wrote MK9 did the comic, maybe, but
Oh, we're not going there again.
I would laugh if Cyrax was like, safety's disabled, and all of a sudden he gets killed.
yeah, like he's still sparking and standing there, getting into his mode, and Sub-Zero's like, "Fuck you."
Safety's disabled, combat mode. Ah!
you should have kept the safety on.
Yeah.
Never turned off the safety.
That'd make me chuckle, even though I'd be extremely upset.
Well, that's pretty much all I got for the story chapter.
All
And she
right.
got bonked
I liked
by
it.
shit.
I liked it. It gave me hope. I think this might
It looks good,
be
yeah.
this game.
It looks incredibly good, and just the whole presentation looks absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Just the amount of
Very cinematic.
screen time given to non-playable characters, and just how much, the stages that they've built, that are so much bigger than what you actually fight in. Like, there's so much more resources in the cutscenes than just what's in the actual playable game. They went to a lot of work, and that's, that gives me a lot of hope, because I feel like a lot of MK9's flaws are because they had to build the script around what's actually in the game. Like, they couldn't be bothered to build a lot of, like, NPCs or too many cutscenes, spend time on, like, stuff that isn't going to lead directly into a fight.
Yep. All right, Shadowloo. All right, go ahead, Sub.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say that it really goes to show just how much of a difference it makes when you have a better sense of direction. That this one chapter only, it impresses me much more than just the overall story mode of the last game.
Yeah, it looks good. The first chapter alone has really got me super excited for the story. Just the presentation, like I said, just looks so damn good. But Shadowloo, you have the...
Do I have?
Yes, do you have?
I do, and it's not safe.
All right, we'll go ahead and whip it out and start showing it to all of us. Or reading it, I guess, would be a more accurate term.
Reading it? How did you know I got it tattooed?
Well,
Wait, are we talking about the same thing?
I think so. We're talking about the, the thing with the Mortal Kombat in the comic.
Oh, yes. Of course. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, so this past week has seen the release of MKX by Kittleson. Chapter 13, Blood Gods, Cold Nights. So, we enter at the city of Zunkara, back in Outworld, where Aaron Black is... I think that's sub-typing.
No typing during the podcast.
Oh, sorry.
You're over. It's hard to hear Shadowloo at this point.
My bad.
I was gonna politely, quietly Skype you that message, but thank you, Razor. I appreciate that.
I can hear it.
No, I'm
in the recording. Just do it.
I wanted to say something, but as a Canadian, I'm just far too polite. Couldn't do it.
No, I appreciate
the abuse.
I didn't say anything because I liked the typing. It was soothing.
All right, that's odd. Okay. Tempt you just look up videos of people typing and you're just now I can sleep.
That's the stuff.
Yeah. He's a big fan of ASMR.
I loop it. I wake up and it's going. I fill out one.
Anyways,
right.
Shadow.
So,
yes.
Zunkara Outworld. Aaron Black has been delivered to Kotal, and he's all bloodied still, and he's very regretful over his decisions, and he's begging Kotal's mercy. And Kotal says that crushing his skull would be mercy, concerning the fact that he nearly provoked another war. So yeah, he knows that they've offended Earthrealm now, and Kotal's sitting here on his throne, and he's pretty upset, and we got Ferrator standing back there behind him, again, doing absolutely nothing for the third issue in a row, it seems, and Reptile and Devore are there too, looking him over. And Kotal's worried about how they're going to remedy this offense against Earthrealm. And, of course, the Special Forces behind him. We got Sonya here, and she suggests that they can start by offering safe passage to Shang Tsung's island. And, of course, praying that they find the girls alive and well. She has a bit of a breakdown here. She's like, if my daughter's been, I won't hesitate to. And Johnny tries to be, the comforting, consoling type and puts his hand on Sonya's shoulder and says, we'll cross that bridge if we get there. Pull yourself together. And she just bats the hand aside and just says, fuck off, under her breath. I don't remember her ever being this much of a... Oh my god, she's such a bitch. They're making her actively unlikable for me now. I get wanting to portray a tough girl, but she's just straight up fucking bitchy. Constantly. Anyway.
I wonder if there'll be this much outright swearing in the game as there is in the comic, because this isn't the first time the comic has used the F word, and they never outright dropped the F-bomb anywhere in MK9. Like, they had moments where Sonya was about to say it, and then she'd trail off at the end of her sentence. Yeah, that's something I brought up a few episodes ago, because, it's continuing with the comic, so one would hope that since they're already an M-rated game, why not use the language when it's actually, calls for it.
So, under their breath, they squabble, a real mature colonel. Cage, if you took even an ounce of responsibility, and Kotal here wisely intervenes and just asks Devore and Reptile to take Aaron back down to the dungeon. So, he explains that before the Earthrealmers arrived, Goro butchered his people to spite him, that he is now all that remains of the once proud Oshtek. Yeah, so the party that went with Kotal's dad was apparently the entire last of his race, which seems like a poor strategic move if you, knew there's only 12 of your people left, and you're like, no, all of you go to the fight. Yes.
Front lines, everybody.
No survivors. I don't need you.
If you're green and have tattoos, front lines right now.
I feel like the half-life of species in Mortal Kombat is like a really, really tenuous thing. Reptiles races all have dying out. Lord knows how many centaurs are out there. Fucking Shokan being all trampled over.
Devora's race. I think
There's a lot of centaurs. They're just not allowed to be on camera.
That is
Are
a
there
good
even
point
any
about
other
reptiles.
vampires left?
Well,
Apparently there was a whole empire in Armageddon.
Okay.
It was thriving. I just think that when the bio for Reptile came out, it referenced the fact that Koda was the last of his race, and that's where everyone said this has no credence.
It did, but we were all at the time when those bios came out wondering whether they were legit or not, because there was some shady-sounding stuff in there. Like, Liu Kang's bio, for instance, talked about how he still had scars from when Raiden electrocuted him at the end of 9, and we've seen Liu now, and he doesn't have scars.
That is true. Well, I'd have to reread the bio. I don't necessarily remember that, but
It's
that is interesting, though.
I think they mean emotional scars.
I feel like all those bios were just really, really written straightforward to the point of, like, specifically answering a lot of fan questions. It's just the wording is far too convenient, and of course riddled with typos.
I was a translation, right?
I think those bios were not taken word for word out of the game, is what it is. Like, somebody transcribed. Like, a lot of the text in those bios was from the Amazon page that had all the renders. But the characters who weren't on that page, I think the guy just went, okay, I found out what his story is, I'm going to type it up in my own words because I can't remember what the game said exactly.
I think so, too. That's exactly what I think happened, because that's a hell of a coincidence right there. Because we didn't know that. We did not know Koda was the last of his race.
And someone said they were translated from, I think, German or something.
Let's also remember, though, that Aaron Blacks said that he's Sonya's dad.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well,
Wait, what?
Spoilers.
Did I read those bios?
Yeah.
Well, it's spoilers if it's true, and I don't think it is, so...
Well...
I mean, the dude don't look that old, and... No, wait, that might have been a separate leak. I think there's an Aaron bio, and I don't know if it's the same one that just says he was kidnapped during the invasion, and that's why he's in Outworld. And
that's what I read.
Like, the Tarkatans grabbed him and dragged him to Outworld, and then he fought his way to freedom and became a mercenary.
During the invasion.
Yeah.
Well,
Didn't Sonya's MK9 ending have him be, like, missing for a really long time?
Well, let's just avoid saying any...
Sonya's bio has it that, like, her dad died or went MIA, whatever, when she was, like, young, and that's why she joined the army. And then he shows up as a ghost in her ending. Yeah. But they also, in that ending, they portrayed it that it might have been a hallucination. So I don't know.
Well, just to be safe,
that ending's not canon anyway.
So she went crazy,
Let's not.
Yeah, Sonya goes crazy in her ending, in MK9. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
She quits the army, hops on a motorcycle, and just drives from town to town, killing Tarkatans. Being led around by the maybe ghost of her dad.
Listen, after they told me that, like, Kung Lao was the reincarnation of the original Kung Lao, despite Shang Tsung eating his soul, I choose not to take anything from any ending, save for sectors, smokes, and maybe noobs as potentially leading into something interesting or actual. Maybe Johnny's. Anyhow.
Well, it's looking an awful lot like Noob was blown the fuck up by that Soulnado, so...
Yeah.
I don't... He doesn't seem to be coming back unless he's the 26th character.
That's definitely the impression I got when I saw him blown the fuck up by the Soulnado in MK9. I got the impression that he was blown the fuck up by a Soulnado.
Purple energy everywhere.
That looked really, really permanent. Hate to say, but it's true.
That would have been funny if Cage was in the background saying, "He might be okay," but
yeah,
clearly,
I'm sure he got sent to another realm.
Or Chris Tucker's like, "Damn, he ain't gonna be an MKX."
He's just a little airborne. He's still good. He's still good.
It would have been a lot better if there actually was, like, a character like Johnny in the scene every time somebody dies to just go, well, he ain't coming back. I think that would help for people.
Alright, so, speaking of Johnny, back to the comic?
Yes.
So he goes to Kotal, I'm sorry for your loss, but means we'll do whatever it takes to bring our family home. Kotal has a small moment of sadness. He's like, I know all too well. And he promises that his swiftest ship will take them all to Shang Tsung's island with a battalion of soldiers to save their family and to make Reiko pay for his crimes. Sonya asks what the catch is, and Kotal says it's to survive the coming dawn. For you see, we flash over here to Goro, disarmed in front of his father, King Gorbak. And Kotal elaborates, after Prince Goro murdered his people, I defeated him, but refused to honor him with a noble death. You'll remember that. The Shokan are a proud race, and I expected King Gorbak to reject his son. But blinded by my vengeance, I overlooked a simple truth, that all fathers love their sons. Oh, would that were actually true, Kotal. Would that were actually true. So here we actually see Gorbak with tears in his eyes. No, not personal. I'm just saying it's a fact. Some fathers are bastards.
Yeah, I
But
watch
still-
Lifetime sometimes.
Still.
It's true.
Ouch, though.
You know? Cold, harsh truths. We do get here the sense that Gorbak is a really nice and caring Shokan dad as he tells his son to rise with tears in his eyes. And Goro begs for death, saying he's not worthy to be Gorbak's heir. And Gorbak replies, silence, you're my son. What Kotal took from you, he took from me. And he explains that the Shokan have suffered the indignity of imperial rule far long enough. And while the Aztec Emperor's strength is compromised, tonight they must act quickly. For tonight the Shokan march for Zunkara. And we get this lovely, lovely splash page of all these marvelously different Shokan. One of them is a giant, got some of them brandishing axes and torches, and one of them is riding a fuck-off dinosaur. And you've got the main man, Kintaro, up forward leading the charge. Sadly, the only Tigrar member of this entire crowd shot. How I wish that were otherwise. And Shiva's right behind him, and she's wearing some, like, oh, it looks like the Shokan version of, like, I don't know, some sort of gym tank top. It actually looks pretty cool on her. It's like casual Shiva. She's
I liked it.
pretty good.
It
Yeah.
did look pretty tight.
It's all right. It seems a weird choice. Like for a Shokan to have like just a T-shirt.
It looked a little 80s, but I like that.
I don't mind it, I really don't. Like, it's different. We're so used to see
I don't know.
them all,
Just
like,
when you're
wearing
surrounded by
loincloths and
shirtless
shit.
guys in loincloths, you stand out a little in a T-shirt.
Shiva don't give a fuck what anyone thinks of how she looks. She's comfortable. You go, girl.
I feel like if she didn't give a fuck, then she'd be mostly naked, like she was in both her MK9 costumes.
It's a distraction tactic. Maybe they should. No. Maybe they just got her out of bed.
I find it kind of distracting, especially when she starts like doing the posing in her wind pose.
Ugh.
So anyway, Shiva in pajamas. Hot. Anyhow, we swap scenes to Kashisahi, Japan. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. So we've got Takeda and Scorpion slowly walking over some train tracks here into town. And Scorpion's telling him about the last time that he fought Sub-Zero, and Takeda's like, wait, you lost? Hanzo says it was a technical loss. We were interrupted. And Takeda asks what the plan is for the rematch, and Hanzo says, you are. And notices it's too quiet here. It starts to get very cold, and there's some mist creeping in through the alleyway. And Takeda asks if they should just get some jackets out of their packs. Wind's kind of cold. And Hanzo knows right away that he's close. Tells him take a sword, get ready. And they creep out into the streets, and they start seeing Lin Kuei cyborgs left and right. They split up to attack him and start slicing them in half left and right. And of course, these cyborgs are completely flash frozen. They just shatter on impact with the ground after they're cut in half. And that's when Hanzo realizes that the whole city is frozen. Gigantic splash page and just icicles everywhere all along ground level. The entire city does appear to have been frozen solid.
I do want to comment here that I felt really stupid after this scene because before I read the dialogue bubble, I saw the cyborg slashed in half and I'm like, oh, they were fake cyborg facsimiles. Good move, Sub-Zero. Then they're like, oh, they're frozen. Never mind. They were real cyborgs. So I felt kind of dumb after that.
That would have been really impressive. I would have loved that.
I thought, like, when nothing happened after he slashed him, I'm like, okay, these are decoys or no? Or I don't know.
Well, you can kind of see, like, a little bit of a cyber spine and some circuitry up inside there when Hanzo first slashes one open. So, I mean, that'd be a pretty detailed replica to actually include internal organs in it. That'd be very impressive. Be some Dragon Medallion level shit.
Yeah, would have been pretty sophisticated.
So
I like how the goon cyber ninjas in the comic always look like the MK3 retro costume.
that's their word for generic now. That hurts a little bit. It really does. So they're taking this horrific sight in, and there's even a sad frozen little dog here. And Hanzo says that even under Quan Chi's control, Kuai Liang was not powerful enough to do this. And Takeda notes that the Kami Dogu is. Maybe he's already possessed. So they start following the trail of the ice.
Frozen. That's sad.
It really is. It's not right. So they ascend a series of stairs up to an Asian temple, and where we have a very ominous-looking Kuai Liang standing at the very top, and Hanzo tells him to stick to the plan, and we get another glimpse of the voices in Sub-Zero's head as he says, as they say, your brother's murderer. His apprentice cannot be trusted. They defy the blood code. Remove their spines. Getting really specific here. I'm liking it. So Kuai asks, is that you, Hanzo? I barely recognize you without the fire in your eyes. Turns around, punches the crap out of the temple. Just debris spilling everywhere. And Hanzo replies, killing you won't bring back the people you murdered, but it'll stop you from hurting more. And who's going to stop you, Hanzo? You used an awful lot of hellfire to fight the blood code. Scorpion is getting stronger in there. See? There he is. So, yep, here we have Hanzo slowly reverting back to type, and the mask is on, and he's like sort of slowly shifting into his scorpion mode. I guess that's what we're calling it now, while Sub stands there looking like almost like
his
he's
eyes
floating.
go white first, and then there's a shot of him with the mask up, and his speech bubble's different looking.
Yep. It starts turning black and like jaggedy around the edge, and so Scorpion now says, steady, Takeda. Whatever possessed Fox and Raiden is controlling Sub-Zero. And here we go. The blood voice says, it doesn't matter who's controlling whom. And we shift over to Shang Tsung's Island again with Havoc. Speaking in that bloody voice, tonight, Scorpion and Sub-Zero finally get the rematch we've all been waiting for. Soon the Kami Dogu will be mine, as will Hanzo Hasashi's soul. He says this as he's removing organs from a corpse on a table.
I guess you need the material components for casting that spell.
Indeed. I was worried there because I actually thought that was like Reiko for a second, but it's not.
No, it's just a generic body.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that the flesh pits, which is where Havoc is standing, aren't on Shang Tsung's island?
Okay, shoot.
The flesh pits aren't on Shang Tsung's island.
Okie dokie. You don't figure he had like a backup, like some backup flesh pits on his island? Guy's home away from home.
Why do the backup flesh pits have Molina tanks?
Ongoing pet project. Maybe he's just taking his work with him wherever he goes. He's a little piece of home with him.
Like, I wasn't going to say anything earlier in the comic where Kotal says, I'll give you guys a boat to go to Shang's Island, even though they're an outworld. Because, you know, Shang's Island is normally on Earth, but it can actually teleport from realm to realm. Like, that's part of his backstory. So I'm okay with that, even though it's a little weird.
Like, saw it existing in both realms simultaneously, like, whichever way it happened to go for.
Well, like at the end of MK1, when Shang makes it collapse, he actually teleported it back to Outworld. Because that's how Sonya and Kano end up captured in Outworld. It's in the original comic.
Perhaps Shang Tsung took advice from Bane. Time to go mobile. Huh?
Eh?
Huh?
Eh?
There are better lines.
Mobile? Mobile?
When prior continuity is erased, then you have my permission to die.
Time to go mobile.
Eh?
Huh? Eh?
You have such a lovely, lovely voice.
Well, I mean,
So,
really...
Do you feel in control right now, Cyborg?
Do you feel in control?
Are you necessary evil?
I am necessary evil.
Oh man, that movie.
So,
I was going to say with Aaron Black, I felt like after seeing his intro dialogues, that whole "I'm so sorry, Kodal" scene kind of felt out of place. It felt a little inconsistent with what we saw before, because I really like that line from when Kodal Khan is talking shit to Aaron Black, and Aaron Black is so like nonchalant, like, "Something wrong, Emperor?" I love that line. So to see him like this now, I'm like, well, I buy it. It makes sense, but
It's just hard to imagine the dialogue in that cowboy voice.
Yeah. It would be kind of funny if I did hear. I kind of want to hear it for that reason, but who is Aaron Black? That's what I'm wondering. Is he a sincere cowboy type, or is he like a renegade who works for himself? Is he like the asshole with a heart of gold? I don't really understand this character yet.
I think you have to take into consideration the fact that all the quotes at the beginning of a fight are just what they'd say if they had to fight each other, because like a lot of them are non-canon.
But it's the whole demeanor and everything. Like, he seems like so callous. His personality just emanates with whatever. I don't give a fuck. This is what I do.
I think it's like in story mode, it'll be like he is loyal and he is trying to do what's best for Kodal and serve the Emperor. But like, you know, in an arcade mode fight, in a versus fight, you're fighting for yourself. So he's going to talk like he's on his own.
And sometimes you're fighting yourself. So you're going to talk nonsense.
My favorite Aaron one was actually the mirror match where he's like, I forget
Mind
what he
games
says.
Don't work on me.
Oh yeah, and then the other
there's
one
an
is
obvious
like,
joke there.
yeah.
I love that too. I thought that was badass. And then Aaron Black got pissed at Aaron Black and said, "You better shut up and draw." I love that.
Does anybody watch Friends a lot?
No.
A little bit. Why?
Damn it. The episode where Joey is like the perfume cowboy, and there's another perfume cowboy. One's like wearing all black, one's wearing all white. And the one that's wearing like all black, he has like this gruff, like scruffy voice, and then all of a sudden when he screws up, he's like, "Damn it, I'm so sorry." But other times when he's doing his job, he's like, "Hey there, partner." That's what I think of. Like when he screws up, Aaron Black, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Kodal. Oh, jeez, did I get it in your eye? Damn it, I'm sorry. Please don't fire me." Then other times he's like, "Hey there, partner."
But for real, I could actually read that first line of Aaron Black dialogue in a kind of a John Wayne Eastwood voice. He's not really groveling, just saying he's sorry. He's like, "I only ever meant to serve you. I beg your mercy, Emperor. I fucked up."
Yeah, that works good.
Or the comic writer just has a completely different idea of what Aaron Black's personality is.
Yeah, I guess when I read the line in my head, he was all like snot-nosed and crying, but
I think if you saw the script of a story mode but you didn't hear the voice acting, you wouldn't necessarily know how a character should sound either. So,
like you're gonna find.
I mean, I imagine Kittleson didn't see footage probably about the same time we did.
I just saying, you didn't figure that like no two writers will ever write a character exactly identically. They're always going to give them their own little inflections and whatnot. And even to this day, your quality of like running Spider-Man will vary from really cynical and sarcastic in one to kind of polite in another one, but willing to take some jibes. And some people could just write Spider-Man as just being downright mean. You know, your mileage is going to vary depending on who's behind that pen. But it's not so far enough here that I feel it's inconsistent. I'm okay.
So seventh, what do you think? What are you feeling?
About Aaron Black? I don't know. He's a cool, looking character and everything, but I don't know. I just find him to be really strange. Like I'm still confused about what his motivations are, especially what Kano said in one of the previous chapters. Like, you telling him that he's too concerned with trying to save people instead of exploit them. Like, I wonder what his angle is. And Aaron apologizes to Kodal because he's trying to do him a favor. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get the angle either, and I know when we play the story mode, this is all probably going to make sense. I'll probably understand what they're going for, but I don't have the core of this character yet, so I'm just kind of waiting and seeing what they're going to do with him, because they could do either. They could still do the calloused asshole thing, or they could do the loyal dog sort of thing. I just don't know yet.
It's possible that he could change sides somewhere down the line in the story mode, but I mean, he could be one of those characters that is something of a staple, in later games. Like, he can work for different different characters, as kind of like a freelance mercenary, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's what I see him, is just like a guy up for sale for the highest bidder with kind of a heart of gold. He takes any job that he wants, but, if he has to, he'll do the right thing in the end.
I don't know. They talk about him in the comic as he used to be a mercenary. I feel like he's genuinely like a committed member of Kotal's army, and I wonder what his position is, because what little we know about the guy is that he used to be from Earthrealm, and now he chooses to stay in Outworld, and I wonder if it's sort of like a thing where it's like he's not a big fan of the civilized world because it doesn't let him run around and shoot people with pistols all the time. But he's not a bad dude. He just kind of likes action and adventure, so he's gonna side with the good emperor.
I hope he steals Quan Chi's horse.
That would be pretty awesome. There is only the one horse in the game. What's a cowboy without a horse?
Speaking of dialogue and opening between people and whatnot, we didn't do Johnny enough service or credit here, because that clip that IGN had up of all of his intros, or most of his intros that we've seen up to date, and ones that we haven't, oh Jesus, they were so good. Speaking of mirror match dialogue.
Man.
Goldilocks.
Are you being there can be only one.
The Mummy Returns.
Johnny's
I don't think I saw that video.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Well, you're making a mistake, son.
Yeah, I need to get on that. Where would I find this IGN video?
It should be
probably on
with
IGN.
the rest of the IGN ones, like the 25 minutes of story mode. It should be wherever, on the same page.
It's with the fatalities and the X-rays and the story and all we get.
See, I didn't actually go to IGN.com. I just went to Event Hubs and I did all of my stuff.
If you go to you don't have IGN's player is shit, so go to IGN's YouTube page.
Doing it.
Yeah, that's where I watch it too.
We also got a.
Did we finish the comic?
We did.
Yeah,
okay.
The end of the chapter is the reveal that Havoc has been the possessing demon guy all along.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
And apparently, Raiden just thinks it's a demon, and we all thought it would actually be a disembodied ghost who was inhabiting people, but no, Havoc has been controlling people long distance with sacrifice and spells.
He's the one who walks in shadow, because it's very, very dark and creepy in Chaos Realm.
All right. Well, then after that we had
Not that dark.
Jack's trailer.
Mostly a lot of green.
Jack's trailer.
Jack's trailer.
Jack's trailer.
But before we get to that,
Bring it.
We've also seen Kitana's second fatality in that IGN fatality montage.
That is true.
Yeah.
I kind of like the second one.
I love it. Just embeds that fan folded into their forehead as they try to just reach up in horror and get on, and it just extends and chops their fingers off and splits their skull. So wonderful. They're doing great things with Kitana's fans and her fatalities now for the first time in so long.
There's some kind of silly elements in there, but it's like the good kind of silly, like the fan lift that makes their body parts spin in every direction.
Yes.
That is going to be the one I do when I use Katana. That if I do a fatality, which I probably won't, but if I did, that would be the fatality I did.
But yes, Jack's trailer. Family Briggs trailer. We got our first
May Yamo Jack's trailer.
El Jack's trailer spectacular.
And yes, I know I just said my name is Jack's trailer. I know what I'm doing.
Ay, caramba.
It's joke.
I don't know why we bother with April Fool's jokes. IGN won the April Fool's jokes years ago with that Zelda movie trailer.
Yeah.
There's no point in competing. You can't top that.
I still haven't seen that to this day, but I know about it.
Again, you're making a mistake, son.
There's too much IGN videos going on in my life right now. I feel so torn apart.
So, any thoughts on the Jax trailer? I'll get mine out of the way real quick. My actual thoughts. Jackie still not impressing me. She looked okay. And Jax looked pretty cool with the cigar and his fatality, but other than that, I was just ultimately wasn't too excited by what I saw.
I like that one missile move Jackie has, where they sort of she like shoots two of them. They twirl around in the air like sidewinders. I don't know if it's a homing move like Sectors or not, but it looked cool.
I don't know. This trailer was the least exciting to me that I've seen.
The timing was really
feel
bad
like
for it, I think.
It didn't focus enough on gameplay. I didn't see enough of that in there.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Every time they release one of those trailers, that's what we get in the stream like a day or two later. And there is a stream coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Probably today for most of the people who are listening to this, because it'll be,
Right.
we're recording this at night. And
They did say it's mobile, but are they really going to talk
Well, they
about
might show
mobile for
both.
45 minutes?
yeah.
I don't know.
I have a pretty good feeling we'll see Jax, Jackie, and maybe Sonya tomorrow. Because they usually do 3 characters. And that would be the end of all of the 24. I guess we're finally going to
Kenshi.
get Goro
Kenshi.
at some
Yes, that's true.
you're right, Kenshi.
They have
The one I'm
promised
looking
Goro-
forward to most.
I
have
keep
promised-
forgetting they haven't shown Kenshi yet.
Yeah.
They have promised Goro for the 4th. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be
On Saturday. It's Saturday.
Yeah,
It's for
well,
the
I guess
tournament thing.
like Twitch itself is doing that stream. Like they're doing a thing with NetherRealm as opposed to NetherRealm just doing one of their normal combat casts.
So they're really building up Goro as a big thing. So I'm guessing his gameplay's going to be really something special for them to hold on to him for this long and to make him a part of that.
We'll go back and say that I do like what I see of Jackie's fatality, where she just like jams her fist with a missile up there and just kind of blows out the back of their skull and back. Interesting little touch. Looking forward to seeing more of that.
It's interesting. I still have no official opinion on Jackie yet, and
Yeah.
I mean, going back to what we said a long time ago with me, Cyborg, and Justin on the Graveyard Shift, I feel like there's a danger to releasing too much content at one concentrated period of time, because Jax would have had much more of an impression back in like a time where we were starved for information. Like Jax could have been, you could have headlined his own little 2 weeks, and he would have been this big deal. And now I'm just like, Jax, whatever. Because I'm already not a huge Jax fan. I like him from a gameplay perspective.
It really
There's,
doesn't help that, like, out of the...
The things I found most interesting about the trailer were like not at all gameplay related though. Like the first thing I noticed was there's a moment in that very beginning scene where Johnny is talking to the junior special forces.
Yeah.
And there's like a moment where Jackie and Takeda sort of share a look that makes me think maybe those two are like love interests. Which is a weird way to go. But the other thing was we see old Jax fight Revenant Kung Lao.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't
And
know
yet
how
Kung
that
Lao
works.
also has an old man costume. So I'm like, did old Jax just go back in time, or are people transforming in the middle of the... I don't get the
They're really
It sounds
making
like
us
some-
play a wonderful guessing game. I'm loving this.
yeah. It's hard to tell what's going on.
I guess I'm out of like speculating stamina. I'm at the point where I'm done speculating, so little things like that. They unfortunately I'm not excited anymore because the game's pretty much out. Like we have 13 days left?
Yeah, a
Like,
week
the
and a
next-
half-ish. Almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like we're going to blink and we're going to be playing this game. So it's hard to get excited for the details anymore. Like, I'm just ready to play it.
I think there's like a kind of also relative lack of enthusiasm for Jax because, let's be fair, Jax is not one of the most, from what I'm seeing everywhere, one of the most anticipated returns out of the entire cast. I love the guy, but a lot of people...
I'm looking forward to him. Actually,
I like him.
Like, I already like Jax, but this trailer, I mean, there's a lot of character in there. I mean, he's smoking a cigar in one of his, like, intros. He's got a power bomb for an X-ray.
This is true. And I'm liking the fact that rips out someone's rib and jams it into their temple. God damn.
Yeah, like the 3 ribs at a time or something.
Very deception. Looking forward to seeing how that one pans out.
I'm happy that his voice actor is the same guy.
Some continuity.
Yeah.
Trace Castillas.
On vouloir de la podison, las estas rano en mi video.
He rips out Trace Castillas. Yeah, I mean, Jax looks great. It's just, like, I agree with Temp that he definitely would have benefited a long time ago, and I also agree that I've seen just too much at this point. Like, I've seen enough. I just want to play the game. I'm not really excited by seeing these trailers. Don't really do anything for me anymore. The only thing that could really get me excited is Goro and Kenshi. So I'm excited to see both of them, but it's like we're less than 2 weeks out. I'm just excited to play them at this point. I don't even really need to see them anymore. Just let me play the game, and I'll be perfectly happy. And
I'm quite content, actually. If they want to crank out a couple more with Kenshi and Goro and whatnot, then that's fine by me. Because I'm remembering, it wasn't so long ago that we had months and months and months of no information. I don't think you can have too much at this point. We know who the entire damn roster is. They could fill this next week and a half up with like just straight match videos every day, and I'd be perfectly happy watching those.
I'd rather, I mean, personally, my own personal opinion is I'd rather just see I'd rather just release absolutely nothing. Just fucking, it's so damn close. It's nothing. We have one more of these episodes to do before we actually play the game. So it's just like there's really nothing. Give me the comic next week and I'll be completely content. I don't seeing more gameplays just makes me like, why am I not playing this already? It's more just makes me more antsy than anything than excited. I don't know. There's a point where I get to the point where I'm just like, I'm tired of looking and thinking and speculating. I just want to get my hands on it.
See, that's you burned out too early. And like I talked about this several episodes ago where people were like, why aren't you you're so anti-hype? And I'm all like, dude, I don't get hype until near release day.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I work. Like, now is the point where I'm excited by things and I start speculating. Because before I was just like, it's so far away, I'm not ready to feel feels yet.
The only thing that was really burning me out was knowing or not knowing whether or not Smoke was going to be present or playable in the game. And now that I know he's not, I'm cool. I can sit back, relax, and just watch the information come in.
Well, this is the point where it's like we've reached the point where there's nothing to speculate, in my opinion, because we've speculated everything there is to speculate. So, I don't know.
No, I never am done speculating. That's my secret kept. I'm always speculating.
Damn it.
You know why I love my paranoid conspiracy theories?
I never started speculating. I mean, story mode was never really my thing to begin with. I just wanted to play the game. I just wanted to do combos. Even back in January, I wanted to play the game. I wanted to do combos. That's what I've been gaming for 8 months, you know, so I've never been on that train to begin with.
As far as, like, playing the game and wanting to do combos, like, that I haven't really seen a character yet who I feel like is I'm looking for that guy who has the super fast rushdown combos that Johnny had in 9, and I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a lot of cool stuff, but I haven't seen any really fast, like, up-in-your-face punching or kicking, except for, like, Takeda has a move that is a combo in one move, and Liu Kang has bicycle punches.
I'd say there's two characters.
Strings, man.
I'd say there's two characters. I've seen some of that with Johnny and the stuff that they showed, and I also see that a bunch in Liu Kang. They still showed off a bunch of like his fast combos that he does.
I think half the cast is going to be that way, to be honest with you, and we just don't see it because the people demoing the game they can't exhibit the high level of play that is necessary for that to even
Well, see,
be a
that's
factor.
why I like Johnny so much. It doesn't require a high level of play to spam forward 3. That's what I want. I want somebody who does really fast strings very, very easy.
But I see their point, though. Spamming forward 3 like 4 times in a row, although strategically viable, is not a great way to sell your game. But yeah, I know what you mean. I want to see like dash juggles. I want to see like large like juggle combos that last for days. I want to see all of that, and it's coming.
People are probably going to do filthy things with Ermac. I'm waiting for it.
Definitely Ermac, and also Katana too. I could tell that juggle potential is definitely there. We kind of already saw it with 16-bit, you know, when he was fighting Seth Rogen. So I don't know. What's his real name? Does he want
Tyler Lansdowne?
Mr. Lansdowne, I'm sorry, man.
His name is the Champion.
But yeah, 13 days. Not even that, really.
Yeah, it's like 12 because, yeah, I was about to say 12 days, really, but 12 days from now we'll be waiting about an hour, 2 hours. So
it's agonizingly close.
It's looking like they're going to be pulling at the MK4 deal again, and I think that Goro might be our sub-boss. Because, I mean, who the hell else at this point?
I don't know.
Possibly nobody. There might not be one.
Or it could be your Shinnok Liu combo, or just that secret unlockable character could be the boss, and then Shinnok is the sub-boss.
They do like to have a big dude be their sub-boss. They always talk like they regret it whenever they don't have that.
Character retrospective?
Well, no.
Before we get into that, so what do we think of the Blue Steel Sub-Zero?
It's stupid.
Yes, thank you.
Isn't it just a palette swap Scorpion?
It is. It's coarse Scorpion, but blue.
Okay.
And I can't fucking wait till the Ermac and Reptile versions
This
drop.
is me twirling my finger.
I don't think it looks bad. Like, I mean, it looks bad from like a design standpoint, but it's fun. It's blue. Right?
I just think it's just bullshit that we're palette swapping all these extra costumes now.
Well, this is for a good cause, though. They're selling this to fund the Fatal 8 tournament exhibition. So, and that's what I wanted to talk about before we went to the retrospective.
For anybody,
that is a big deal.
For anybody that's like into the competitive scene and watching it and all that, then by all means. But for me, I'm not going to buy that skin. I do not want that skin, especially because we're going to get several in the game. But there's a reason why I didn't get the core statue pre-ordered anyways, because I don't really. Personally, I know it was like a split on who liked it and who didn't, but for some reason that style just does not appeal to me. I don't know why. And I love Pixar animated stuff and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of like halfway that, but I don't know.
I would like to have the statue. I think the skin in the game looks dumb.
Yeah, exactly. And that is dumb. Yeah, I definitely don't like it for the game. So to palette swap it as sub and then offer it as DLC, however much to go towards the tournament, which may be a good cause, and that's fine, but offer us something that's actually decent. I don't want a palette swap. If you want to make
a lot of money for that tournament, give me Deception Sub-Zero as a for sale skin.
Or have have an additional character. Give us Fujin, for God's sakes, and give part of the proceeds to that. I mean, if they really cared that much, they would have done something much better than Sub-Zero. And I know Sub-Zero is a popular character.
Might. They might do both. I mean, it's not a either or. They could keep doing stuff like this where they're supporting the competitive scene by adding content. Yeah. This could be a trend.
Perhaps. I'm just saying, personally, it's not that I don't want to help out the competitive scene. That's great. I would, if there was something that I actually liked, I'd buy it, but I'm not going to, it's not cool enough or even likable enough for me personally, for me to fork over money just to have it, just so I can, give to the I would never use that skin. I just would never use that skin at all.
Well, honestly, there's a simplicity I like about it. I plan on using it, to be honest with you. I'm in the minority here. I don't think it looks that bad. I think it looks fun.
It's the same reason why I don't use the animated series Batman skin in the Arkham games. And the Batman animated series is my favorite animated series of all time. I love the damn thing. I have the whole thing. The problem is
when you use the skin, it doesn't skin the backgrounds.
Holy shit, it sounded like you were dying right there.
Honestly, you're right over there.
Yeah, I know, it was just funny.
I just I fail to see the point of palette swap in this motherfucker when you know for a fact there are going to be MK1/2 retros in the game again, which they will also swap about. They're gonna do it.
That.
It's
I mean, I hope you're
money.
right.
It's easy money.
Okay, but even if they
people like their ninjas,
even if they don't have the MK1, MK2 palette swaps this time, I'd still not want that because for me that does not fill that role. I know it's simplistic, but it's cartoony. It's legitimately, that's the style of it, is cartoony. And the same reason why I was saying I don't use animated series Batman in the Arkham games is because, as Razor was pointing out, they don't skin the backgrounds as well. So it's literally just a cartoon in a very realistic environment, in a dark realistic environment, and it just does not mesh well at all. It's just a big glaring, it sticks out like a sore thumb, and I just and on top of everything, it is a palette swap, and I'm not going to play a Scorpion palette swapped Sub-Zero when it's clearly Scorpion's outfit. It has the straps, it has everything Scorpion, but it's Sub, so no.
I kind of want a Reptile one. I want one in green, I'm not going to lie.
I'd much rather get a ninja outfit for Reptile, not cartoonized in that case. That's green.
Like I said, if it's an either or, I mean, yeah, absolutely I agree, but I feel like by itself in a vacuum, I think it's okay. I don't think it looks that bad. I did want to elaborate, though, on the whole Fatal 8 thing, because we have some cool choices here. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I did want to talk about Ryan Hart. He is not a Mortal Kombat player. His claim to fame right now is Street Fighter 4, but he was one of the Tekken gods. So that's really awesome. This is a great way to get other communities to play our game, or to better yet to watch our game. That's really cool. And I also want to talk about Ketchup. I mean, Ketchup's going to be there. He was one of the better European players from MK9. So, and when he did come to Evo, unfortunately he didn't perform as well as he could have, but there's a lot of factors going on there, so I'm excited to see him perform. We're all starting over with MKX. Everyone, we're all starting from square one. You know, Cyborg is already bodying my rank.
I hate when you say that. Not the bodying part. You can say that all you want.
I was like, damn.
The starting over from
how you kick my ass.
Every time you guys keep saying, you and Redman and Kenshi Master, starting over from square one. We're not, though. You will still be better than me very quickly.
With that attitude, maybe.
It's not like we're going to all pop in the game and then me and Razor are going to start bodying you and Justin or Redman.
Well, there is a difference between your natural skill at video games and the fact that we all don't know the moves yet. That's two separate categories.
Right.
Let's go over the track record. As of 2 weeks ago, Razor found a Kung Lao Infinite and bodied me, Justin, and Cyborg consecutively. That is a thing that happened. Let's go over the record again. We did a 1st to 10, me and Cyborg. Cyborg beat me 10-4 against my Rain.
But that's first of all, that's Kenshi versus Rain. I don't know the matchup, but I would imagine it has to go in Kenshi's favor.
I know that Cyborg's really good at spamming Kenshi's... Oh, I'm sorry, the term is zoning.
That's how you play him.
Yes.
That's how you do it. That's how you know you're doing it right.
That's part of the game,
no,
but
that's what he does. That's how
my point.
You try to move and he, slams into you or punches you from a distance or the thing drops from overhead.
Yes.
Tired of astral projecting at me. It hurts.
I don't... All right.
God, I'm lonely on PS3.
I want to fight you, not your ghost.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to say here, but my point is...
You're supposed to call me salty.
I will not use that term.
Well, see, you're not even trying to get into the competitive fighting game spirit. Then.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not.
Gotta get your hopes way up. You gotta elevate yourself.
No, but my point of bringing that up was when you say we're all gonna start at square one. Okay, in the first week, sure, we'll all do decent, and it'll be much closer than it will be in MK9, but that gap will quickly start to show itself very, very soon, just based on pure commitment.
Well, it's like if me and an Olympic sprinter both joined a baseball team and had never played baseball before, he's still going to be better at baseball than me.
Yes, it's the experience. Temp is still going to know the frame, he'll learn frame data, matchups, and all this BS as it comes out. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to learn bread and butters and do what I do.
I have a counter argument, though. What if, and this is possible, it may sound like I'm joking, but this is very
Don't even say,
possible.
what if I do better?
No, I wasn't going to say that.
Well, you should.
What if? No.
What if you get good, noob?
What if you level up, scrub? No. What I was going to say is, what
Get
if...
on my level, chump.
Well, Shinnok could be Jade tier. That's very unfortunately possible. He could be Rain tier. And Kenshi could be Kenshi tier. So if that matchup lives on, you could be bodying my main. I don't know. We'll see, you know?
But with that said...
You're gonna stick with him even if he's garbage?
Even if your character is the absolute bottom, even if Shinnok ends up being the absolute worst character in the game, and I use the absolute best character in the game, if you know more knowledge and are just more experienced with fighting games and how they work and the inner workings and the technicalities in those workings, you can still beat me 9 times out of 10. That's just the way it goes.
What if you get better?
I'm not...
What if you get good, though?
I'm joking. But honestly, dude, like, I don't really know what I'm getting into with MKX yet, dude. Like, I'm playing Killer Instinct right now, and I'm not the best at that game. Like, I am by no means...
Nobody's the best at that game except Maximilian.
Yeah,
I don't know
Maximilian.
how he has the brain speed to keep up with that shit.
He downplays
He's Max.
himself so much, too. I wish
Like,
he'd give
I
himself more credit.
I don't even have, like, the wherewithal to not spam when I'm playing KI. Or just button mash. Like, I don't even... Like, I know to throw in quarter circle motions every couple button presses.
God, I'm lonely on PS4.
Well, we're coming for you, Shadaloo. We're joining you soon. Oh, okay, this is actually a good time to talk about this. We were talking, me and Cyborg on the Graveyard Shift, about all 4 of us joining the same faction. What do you guys think of going all in Quay? Shadaloo, I'm looking at you especially.
5, Justin as well.
All 5 of us.
I think you should join me on the winning team, yes.
Ain't nothing to fuck with, etc. Sure, why not?
The idea was,
Quay is for the children.
since half of us were going to go Lin Kuei, half were going to go Brotherhood, why don't we just all join up, do Lin Kuei. Once we get to max out on Lin Kuei, we'll do Brotherhood, max out on that, and we'll just each go to the same factions each time, and that way we're all working towards the same cause. It's more fun that way, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
I really don't care which we start with. I'd be fine choosing Brotherhood off the gate as long as we get to do Lin Kuei next. But that's all arguable, so we can figure that out. But as long as we're all in agreement that we do the same ones and wait for the other people to finish, that'd be fun.
And then
I mean, I say I'm going to go Lin Kuei first, but if I hear that one of them has way better faction kills, I might try them first.
Okay, then.
That was easy.
Won't really know that until, like, what, a week out or something?
I don't know.
How often do they do all the rewards? Isn't it weekly, or is it, like, what? I think it's weekly.
I don't know.
I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there who's like, I played 1,000 matches today. I know all of them. That's actually, did you guys see that? The April Fool's thing for Injustice today was you have to play 1,000 matches as Joker and win, and you get like 10 grand XP, something like that.
That's all.
Is this funny because Joker is shit tier? I'm out of touch with Injustice completely.
Maybe.
He's
I imagine
bottom
it's just because
5.
he's the Joker and it's April Fool's Day.
Fair
Well,
enough.
also the Joker's horrible. He's fucking... If he's not the worst character in the game, he is bottom 5 for certain.
That's
and
painful to hear as a Joker fan. Damn.
And Superman is broken, so you know the game is accurate to the comics.
Well, he's better now. Like, I think the most, like, unfair... I don't want to call him broken, but the most S-tier character in that game is probably Martian Manhunter. He's probably the most bullshit of all the characters.
I never played as him. I don't even think I bought him or
I haven't
Zatanna.
played that much Manhunter. But I know that the Superman's floating heat vision is kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I stopped playing Injustice like not too long. I didn't even beat It's not because I didn't like the game. I love the game. It was just, like I said, I have a hard time having an attention span with certain games. I just lose interest really quickly, even if I spent how many months looking forward to it. And like I said, I love the game, but I didn't even beat the damn arcade ladders with every character, and I usually at least stick around for that. And I didn't do that. I only briefly came back each time DLC came out for the pack I already bought, the season pass or whatever, and played each one barely any. And then I didn't even end up buying Martian Manhunter or Zatanna.
I played like more or less to completion when it came out, as far as like all the arcade ladders and stuff, and unlocked what costumes I could before I got super sick of Star Labs mode.
Yeah.
But I come back to it in like little spurts here and there.
Yeah. Story mode, then I was done. I took one look at Star Labs mode and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I did the first like 60 missions or something.
It just made me tired looking at it.
Yeah, Star Lab was so bad.
I don't have the commitment to put into things like that unless it's actually MK. You know what I'm saying?
It's sad that Star Labs was the way it was, considering that game came out after the one with the Challenge Tower, which is so much fun. Like,
yeah,
I don't get where they went wrong with there.
I think MKX is the way to go, though. The rotating out towers, the special towers, the daily challenge towers, and stuff like that, I think that's something that can keep me playing for a bit. Because I love when Halo offers like daily challenges and stuff. It's a little extra something to give you something to keep like working towards. And same with the faction system.
There's definite replay value there.
Right. And I need some of that. I need simple replayability, like little continuous rewards to keep wanting to play, because once I do the crypt, once I do the challenge tower, once I do the arcade endings, once I do story, which doesn't take me that long because I like binge play anytime I have like time off, so that's gonna take maybe a week or two tops for me to do all that. So I need things to keep me coming back, because I'm not the competitive player that has to practice for tournaments and stuff. But obviously now that we have a gaming group between all of us, I'll keep wanting to keep with it and play and try and do the maining characters and getting good and leveling up and blah 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 and all that nonsense that I don't like to say. I don't know, I just terms. Like I have no problem with the terms, but I don't know, it's weird. Justin's the biggest abuser of saying things like tier. I give him shit all the time for saying like hair tier and fucking all the weird shit he says.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Anyways, yes. So I look forward to it, and I hope my attention span will stick with it. The good thing is, since they come out in April, there's no big game that's going to take me away from it other than Arkham Knight, but that's a single-player game, so once I go through story and complete all the challenges, I'll go right back to Mortal Kombat, so...
Riddler tokens.
Yeah,
those are Riddler tokens.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun.
I imagine there's going to be a lot less Riddler challenges. I think Arkham City they maxed out the Riddler challenge tolerance of most people.
Never more. But yeah, no.
Well, there were less of them in Origins.
Yeah, see, I didn't even finish Origins. I lost interest.
There was less of everything.
I actually thought
quality.
As far as story, Origins isn't that bad.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I just couldn't get into it.
Origins told a decentish little story, and I really admired it for its little killing joke reference Ace Chemicals chapter. That was a really nice touch.
I like the way it actually explained why Bane is such a moron in the main Arkham games.
Nah.
Like, he used to be normal, intelligent Bane, and then he overdosed himself.
I like the way it deleted my save file that I had to restart.
Ouch.
I like the way that they tried to make me pay for DLC afterwards. Nah. I never played the Cold Heart Freeze DLC. I was just really disgusted with that entire game. And it was made around the corner from where I used to live. I know those people. I'm upset with those people.
All right. Character retrospective?
Whoa, Chinese Ninja Warrior, with your heart so cold. Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. Is that what it is? No?
They do say Sub-Zero.
Okay.
They say it a few times, that's true.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to reference that album until you like it, folks.
Sub-Zero is our character retrospective, and
Look, if you don't already like that album, we can't be friends.
Let's be fair. Kuai Liang is our character retrospective.
Yeah, we're saving Bihan for the noob one, though we'll probably mention him here and there.
All right, Shadowloo, why don't you start us off this time?
Shit, what is there to say about the best developed character in all of Mortal Kombat? There was a time where I was totally enamored with this guy, and I still enjoy him. I really do. But I've always been kind of split, between him and Bihan. I've always considered that each had kind of a legitimate place as a Sub-Zero, despite the fact that, one kind of went elsewhere. But, growing up, for a little while at least, Bihan, aka Sub-Zero the First, as we knew him for many, many years, that was my Sub-Zero, and I was actually really, really happy to see when they brought him back for that one game Mythologies. Made me like him all over again, but that's for the Beyond retrospective. It's just kind of wonderful how they sort of accidentally told the hero's journey through Sub-Zero, That classic, rises from nothing, overcomes trials and tribulations, suffers loss, grows, becomes something far and away superior to what he once was. He had the whole literary hero's journey, and I don't even know if they realized that they were doing it at the time. I loved watching the slow evolution of that character. And people had every right to be upset when MK9 retold things and turned him into a cyber ninja for shock value. A cyber ninja who played like butt. I mean, I'm really glad that they've seen the error of their ways, so to speak, and they did address that in one of the little back and forth dialogues that we have with I think it was with Johnny that we saw this week, where he's
Johnny.
like, "Hey,
he's like, so how did you get uncyberized?"
Long story. Quan Chi did it. That's good enough for me.
That's
so there's your
kind
explanation,
of
folks.
the obvious answer anyway. I don't know why anyone was ever questioning. We know, Hanzo and Noob were not running around in their original bodies. You get a new body when Quan Chi brings you back from the grave.
I think it's the fact that most of us expected that to be the explanation, but I think what we were expecting also, and we're hoping for, was to actually see Quan Chi do it. To actually go, well, this is stupid, here, have your original body back, to actually have that on camera. And it would be nice, but yeah, I can live without it. A short explanation like that is more than enough for me. So anyway, I guess that's why people really love Kuai Liang, He is the unspoken, real, absolute, true hero of MK. Or he was, until Johnny Cage came and opened a big old can of whoop-ass. Well, we'll see. Now let's see. Favorite Kuai Liang fatality. Now to get the obvious out of the way, I can't say the head and spine rip. Because I'm forever going to associate the head and spine rip with Bihan / Sub-Zero 1 / Noob from here to eternity. I feel like it's kind of, for me at least, more synonymous with Bihan than it is with the identity of Sub-Zero. So, that said, I've always kind of had a place for the MK2 ice grenade. Especially freezing them beforehand and then just tossing it in and blowing them the fuck up. Favorite outfit for Sub-Zero? It's a tricky one. He's had so very many good ones. I think I'm actually going to say MK Deadly Alliance alternate, the masked one. There's something about the sash that I really, really liked. It was nice. It was it felt like a natural evolution from MK4 masked to MKDA Grandmaster status. Those are the digs that I saw him wearing when he kicked the crap out of Sector for leadership of the Lin Kuei. There's not too much else that I can really say about him. If I want to keep it brief. I hope that he'll always be around. But if you were to tell me that, Bihan could come back as Sub-Zero one day, I'd say, yeah, sure. I'd like to see it. Let's see, what else? Kind of a shame that it looks like we're not going to get any kind of wrap-up or resolution to that whole him trying to save his brother storyline that just keeps on getting tossed to the wayside in every story. never see anything made out of that, Armageddon didn't offer closure on it.
His brother's double dead. He exploded. Yeah. His soul exploded.
He's just a little airborne. He's severely airborne. It really bothers me how they set up these wonderful plot lines and they just can't ever manage to get anywhere with them. I don't know. Smoke's still around. He is in Enra, so maybe we can shift the perspective to Kuai Liang trying to save his old friend instead.
It would be nice to see that actually happen for once.
It would. It really would. Because, from that perspective, Smoke's still sort of going through the same, or could be going through the same struggle for his humanity, just in a different form. And it would be nice to have actually Sub-Zero step up to the plate and help offer that kind of a resolution. So yeah, I'd like to see that, definitely. But, Barry, that's it. That's my thoughts on Kuai Liang for the time being. Next.
I guess I'll go, because, I've said over and over again, as far as story, Kuai Liang is my favorite character in the entire series. And, I can go on and on about why for hours. I'm not going to, because I'd kind of like to go to bed sometime tonight. But, you kind of touched on it already by mentioning the hero's journey, which, if anybody doesn't know what that is, Wikipedia it. It's, there was this writer named Joseph Campbell who just studied a whole lot of mythology and went, these stories all follow the exact same outline. And Sub-Zero and Kitana's backstories both follow that outline, and it seems to be mostly by coincidence, but it's still there. And that's something that's not really true of even, Liu Kang, really. Even though, John Tobias used to talk about Liu as if he was, their version of Luke Skywalker, but he doesn't really go through the same, hardships and stuff. But Sub-Zero does, and Kitana does, or at least did before the reboot. And the weird thing about it is that Sub-Zero's never really even been the main hero. He rarely ever has a damn thing to do with whoever the villain of the game is. He's mostly always on some side quest of his own. In MK2, he's sort of there to assassinate Shang Tsung because he basically inherited his brother's last mission. But, that's the closest he's ever come to really giving a damn about the villains. I guess Deadly Alliance too, but I'll get to that.
Well, what about MK4, though?
Well, MK4 is sort of the same thing as Deadly Alliance, where he sort of starts out going I'm going to go fight the bad guys, and then he gets sidetracked by something and never actually faces
That's true. If you look at the ending, that's exactly what does happen.
Yeah. But, Kuai Liang is so much more interesting than Bi-Han to me precisely because of the way he starts the story. Bi-Han, and I don't know if I'd call him a shallow character because I actually like that he's this way, but Bi-Han is basically a sociopath even before he becomes Noob Saibot. I'm not even entirely convinced that he loved his brother when he was alive, because he seems to only care about himself. He seems to, just be a guy I'll do whatever it takes to survive. I am loyal to the Lin Kuei because if I weren't, it'd be the end of me. I kill every single person I meet because if I don't, they'll kill me. He's all business.
I wouldn't call him shallow for that. Point in fact, I'd say that in a world where we actually got expansion after Deception that wasn't Armageddon, I'd actually argue that Bi-Han would be a really, really good example of the fallen protagonist, or not the antagonist, because you have him having a very, very established start and having that question of mythologies as to what fate has in store for him unless he changes his ways. And from then, not only does he die and get turned into a wraith, not only is he very happy with it, he starts trying to become the master of the house in Deception. And that would have led to some really interesting, confrontation between him and Kuai Liang if they had gone that route. So I can't call Bi-Han shallow.
Yeah,
I'm talking about wasted opportunity.
I don't want to use the word shallow, but I would maybe use the term one-dimensional, because he's defined entirely by a single personality trait, and that's selfishness. Maybe, well, when he was alive, it was mostly survival instinct. As Noob Saibot, it's mostly ambition. So maybe there's two dimensions there, but he's just very, very limited to that one real thing. And the only time he ever really diverts from that is in Mythologies when he doesn't kill Serena, and they never explain why he doesn't kill Serena. But because he doesn't actually have a conversation with Serena until later, after he spared her life. And it's mostly like him going, "Why did you help me?" as opposed to anybody asking, "Why didn't you kill her when you kill every single other person you fight?" So I just think maybe like he had the hots for her, like it was just, "Oh, pretty girl, I'm not going to rip her spine out." Who knows? But as far as Kuai Liang, like the very first game he's introduced in, right away it goes, you know how this guy's not Bi-Han? How you can tell? Because he lets people live. And that right away tells you there's something going on with this guy. This is an assassin who won't kill people unless he has to. So he has some sort of morality that's unusual for assassins. And then they build on that in MK3, where it feels like he didn't just leave the Lin Kuei because he didn't want to be a robot. It feels like he might have left the Lin Kuei anyway, because he was sort of going down this path where he was going to reject the whole assassin lifestyle. Where he was going to be like, you know what? I've never really liked being in the Lin Kuei. I don't like what they forced me to do. I don't like that this is my life. And now that I've fought for Raiden once, I feel like I have, the opportunity to go do that. So, that could have been his life if the Cyber Initiative hadn't forced him to make the choice to leave anyway. So, like, I don't know, that's what I like about Kuai Liang, that he's such a good guy. Because, I mean, we've talked about what I like best about Liu Kang before, and how I don't think he's boring the way other people are boring. Like, people seem to have a real problem with, like, Goody Two-Shoes characters. I think Kuai Liang is a real good example of, like, a Goody Two-Shoes character who has just enough darkness that people don't immediately go, fuck that guy, as far as the audience goes. Like, he gets away with being so good because he also has really violent finishers and also happens to be a ninja who has killed people for a living, even though he doesn't want to. And I don't know, the disappointing thing about it is, like you mentioned with Smoke, he keeps dropping plots. Like, his whole story in MK3 is about trying to save Smoke. And then every game after MK3, he doesn't even seem to mention Smoke until a little bit in Deception. It's like, did he just forget about his best friend, or did Smoke die in MK3? So Kuai's, just thought it was over, and he was never going to have that chance again. And then I'm sort of rambling at this point because there's so much story to Sub-Zero. Like, I want to talk about the Frost thing and how interesting I think it is that his attempt to train an apprentice goes badly for him. Like, he's apparently a bad teacher because he's too soft. Like, he was blind to her flaws. He didn't, realize she was, Anakin Skywalker and was going to fucking turn on him. He's basically Obi-Wan, and I like that about that story. Like, that's why I like Frost so much, because I don't really like her for herself. I like what she brought to Kuai. And I mean, you've got the Dragon Medallion power boost. I thought it was a really interesting thing that it had the downside of it also, like, super aged him. Because, usually a character in a story gets, like, some sort of item or artifact that makes them more powerful. That's just it. But, that's a really good way to become a Mary Sue. And, to have that downside of it where, like, makes him older and, like, that much closer to death, and sort of, like, you gotta wonder, well, now that he's all wrinkly and gray-haired, is he physically weaker, too? Like, aging has downsides. And then there was the armor in deception. You know, he finds out where his powers come from. Excuse me. My throat is still trying to force me to cough, and I'm fighting it off. But yeah, he, like... You know, Kwai's sort of always been this legacy guy. Like, he took his brother's name because it's like a family heirloom. You know, his dad was called Sub-Zero 2 and all that stuff. And he's always been sort of walking this line, or struggling to honor the Sub-Zeros who came before him, but also have his own destiny. Like, you know, first he left the Lin Kuei, then he went back and took them over, because just leaving wasn't enough for him. He had to sort of reclaim that identity and make it what he wanted it to be, because it was important to him. And, you know, the finding out about his ancestors and where his powers comes from ties into that. And it's sort of like, well, now I'm wondering, if you were to follow that thread in future games, would he now be, like, trying to set out to, like, bring back the Cryomancer race, or to have, like, an offspring of his own to pass his name on to, like his dad and brother passed it on to him? Was that what he was trying to do with Frost? You know, why? I mean, that's sort of one of the things I find interesting about, like, the relationship with Serena. Just the idea of Sub-Zero having a potential love interest, because it seems like having a son would be important to him, which, I don't know, kind of makes it weird that he's one of the characters who doesn't have one in MKX. But I guess he's been dead for a while. He's got some catching up to do. But yeah, like, even the cryo armor might have had a downside to it, because, like, in his ending, where it suddenly, like, starts, like, guiding his moves and helping him, like, kill all the Tarkatans that he's up against, it's like, can this armor take over his mind? Is that, like... Because that could be dangerous. But yeah, like, it's... I don't know. I wonder what they were thinking when they went into MK9 and they said, no, throw all of that away and turn him into a robot. I guess they sort of knew that they could always go back on it, because look at where we are in MKX. He's the Grand Master again. He's human again. He's got, you know... I don't know if he's ever going to wear the Cryomancer armor again, but there's always the potential that Frost is still a Lin Kuei under him, because we've saw that screenshot of her. I think I covered everything I'd want to say about him, at least for now, because again, I can go on for hours, trying not to. So yeah, I'll just get to favorite costume and finisher. My favorite costume, is it cheating to say one from the current game?
No, you could definitely do that.
Yeah, no, the bearded one is definitely the best he's had, because my favorite before this game was his the Deadly Alliance one, but the old man look, nah, I mean, it's okay, but I sort of, do like the way he looks with, like, a full head of black hair better. I kind of miss that the scar hasn't turned blue, but I really like the idea of taking the MK3 outfit and reimagining it as, something that cool. Because the original MK3 outfit was kind of goofy. Like, the spandex pants, and he just sort of looked like Cable from the X-Men.
Half the people in that game were wearing wrestler garb. They really were.
Somewhere between wrestler and superhero, but I don't know, just the way Deadly Alliance took that and said, you know what, let's bring the loincloth flap back, and let's put these kanji on those patches on his chest, and just, baggier pants, make it look more ninja. And then this game to do it in high res, and then add the beard, which I think looks really good on him. So yeah, I mean, that's I like my Sub-Zero unmasked. I'm not I mean, I like the ninja look, but for him, not my favorite. I think it works better on Scorpion and Reptile and Ermac.
Perhaps being able to see a character's face contributes better to our perception of them.
I think
as honest.
It also,
people. I think it's a subconscious thing. We're more comfortable with seeing Kuai Liang unmasked because we recognize him as a good guy. We can see him for what he is.
Yeah, there's something more heroic about going unmasked. And I think it also sort of, because that costume ties into story, like in MK3, the reason he's not a ninja anymore is because he left the clan. Like, he's rejecting it so much that he took off those clothes. Just, I like it that it's a costume that has a story to it and has a meaning behind it, as opposed to just a random change of clothes. Yeah, I actually really like the Shredder helmet deception outfit. I know there are some people who take issue with him looking like Shredder, like somehow, Shredder owns helmets that have 3 prongs on the top.
You know what, though? The more far along that we go away from deception, the more I'm seeing what seems like universal love for that outfit. I don't know what it is. I don't think I've seen a post by anyone who's hated that outfit in a really long time.
Same. I think it's died out. I think that was a knee-jerk reaction to begin with, and it's faded into non-existence.
Once you get past the initial reaction and the similarity, it really does look quite badass.
Yeah, the helmet works for him. Favorite finisher, I'm gonna say, the deception one where he freezes their legs, shatters them with a sweep kick, and then, what's left of their torso is trying to crawl away and actually, goes no, please don't, and then he, stomps their head in. Or, technically in those graphics, he stomps on their chest and the head pops off cartoonishly, but I think he was supposed to be crushing their head.
Any Kids in the Hall fans? No? Okay.
Yes.
Yes!
I'm crushing your head! I'm crushing your head!
Sweet. I didn't think anyone was... I didn't know... I should have known about Shadaloo. I don't know why I didn't make that connection, but of course
part of my national heritage, the Kids in the Hall is.
It's a hell of a national
heritage. I watched a lot of Kids in the Hall when I was... Well, in early, when Comedy Central was just getting started, that was half their programming was Kids in the Hall.
And I loved it. I fucking loved it.
Simon and Hecubus are my boys.
Cutting up our Trisket.
What's under the food? What's under the fridge? Is it food? No, it's not food. Aww.
Well, I'm not being mean. I just have a condition that makes me always sound sarcastic. I totally do. I'm so sorry if I offended you.
Oh my god.
I fucking love Kids in the Hall, my god.
Cops. The 2 cops. But sorry, we're cutting Razor off. I talk about
no, you can keep going if you want. I
have the whole box.
I appreciate the Kids in the Hall as much as anybody.
Sweet. I do love hearing that.
But, I guess the reason that one's my favorite fatality, and I agree with Shadaloo that I feel like the spine rip belongs to Bihan. The reason I like that one is just I really like that they're crawling away and, going, no, out loud. How many fatalities does the victim talk, It
does stand out. I think it's also the utter brutality of ripping someone's head and spinal cord right out that really speaks to me. It's a very Bihan, ruthless characteristic trait.
It was in the first game and he did it, and then, in MK2, there is no spine rip. Kuai Liang came in with his own stuff. So, every time Kuai does the spine rip, it's more like a tribute, or, hey, remember this nostalgic from the first game thing? Sub-Zero rips spines, right? No, Bihan rips spines.
It was a very intentional thing to leave that spine rip out of MK2. And I've also wondered whether or not it's because it was one of the single most graphic and violent images, and they were afraid of the controversy, which I can't buy because Kung Lao was slicing people in half, and Baraka was sliding down those.
This stuff in MK2 is way gorier than the spine ripping one.
So it was probably to help better differentiate the brothers. I agree.
I think it was they were high on technology. I mean, I guess, that's true even now, but when they found out they could do, freeze fatalities, they just went crazy with it. In a good way. I mean, they're good fatalities even to this day, but that's the trend we see with them. Yeah?
To be fair, the MK2 Deep Freeze is in SNES MK1.
Yeah, but... Well, no, it looked good. I think it's a good-looking fatality even today. That's true.
I would actually
I'm a guy who's always been a proponent of some of those NES versions. I mean, not the ones that are clearly just the same one with less blood, like Kano ripping out an empty hand instead of
Johnny Cage
having his hand.
Sub's SNES one was special because I would love to see a return to that one where he just freezes the guy and gives them just a straight one-shot backhand to the face. And they don't just, explode in pieces flying everywhere. No, they just slowly splinter, crack, and just, fall to pieces in a pile on the ground.
Yeah. It was well animated. And, I mean, again, my favorite Raiden finisher is still his SNES one, because I think turning into dust looks way cooler than just exploding their head.
Agreed, definitely. Fuck, I want to play some SNES MK1 now. How many years since I've said that?
We'll get that in the live stream. Somehow.
But yeah, that covers why I love Kuai Liang so much. Dude's got depth.
All right. Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters by far. Since pretty much the beginning. I don't think he was my favorite until the second half of MK2, and he's not my favorite anymore, obviously, but he was one of my favorite characters pretty much forever, even in MK1. And I played him, I made him in MK2, I used him a lot in MK3. I mained him till I found out about Smoke. Well, really, I probably mained Cyrax more than I mained Sub, but I loved his rendition in MK3. I love change in general. When I see a character evolve, I gravitate towards him.
People had so much fun in early versions of MK3 with that broken-ass ice clone.
Oh, yeah. And not much, I mean, it's better now, but it's never not been annoying. It's had this legacy of just being the most frustrating, nerve-wracking moves in just ever. It's fantastic, and
I hate fighting Sub-Zero almost as much as I hate fighting Kenshi, because it's just clones and slides all day. But
I'd rather fight Kenshi.
I can't be mad because I would do the same thing, because I fucking love doing the ice clone.
Well, Kenshi, you get a hit. With the ice clone, you get comboed. I'd rather get fucking slashed, knocked full screen, and Donkey Kong my way back to the fucking character than I would be just... I jumped because I'm an idiot, and now I'm getting comboed. That's the worst feeling ever, especially if you're Cage. So, yeah, but you know what? It was Mortal Kombat 4. I always say ownership's an important thing for me with a character. MK4 is when I really took ownership of the character and said, this is my main. And he was never not my main. I love Fujin, but Sub was my main, hands down. And when I saw that scar near one of the final versions of the game on the MK2S costume, I just fell in love. I thought it looked so good. And to be honest with you, I kind of missed that. Sub-Zero will never be my main probably ever again, but I miss rocking out with the character like I did back in the day, and there's a lot of positive nostalgia about that. So, and I loved it, and he just evolves. I'm always wondering, what is Sub-Zero going to look like in the next game? Because with Deadly Alliance, they set this really nice trend of Sub-Zero is going to look completely different every time from now on. And maybe that's why I was so disappointed with Sub-Zero and MKX. Maybe that's why I'm just not a fan of it. I thought they took the safest possible costume and then took interesting elements out of it. It's like they made the standard Sub-Zero costume less interesting. I don't know how you do... Well, I know how you do that. You do that by making the mask fucking black.
I think
I think there's something to be said for taking the classic Sub-Zero costume and basically handing it to Tetsuya Nomura and saying, put as many belts on there as you can.
He's belted fucking out. And I don't know what those belts do.
He has so many belts, it's almost a skirt.
It's ridiculous. I don't know. It doesn't look horrible. I was really disappointed after the legacy we had of good costumes with Sub-Zero, and that's why I like the Deception costume so much. Because when we first saw that reveal trailer, and I'm like, is that Sub-Zero? I'm like, oh my god, they did it. They surprised me again. And it was just total left field for me, and that's what I want to see. I want to see characters evolve. You know, I don't want to see fucking Ermac with rotting abs. You know, I don't really want to see Melina with pants. I want to see real evolution, you know? I respect the people who like Melina pants or, you know, Mummy Ermac. If you're into that, that's cool. I'm happy for you. I'm not rude. I want everyone to like the game, obviously, but I like positive change. I like development. That looks good. Yeah,
I would argue that Melina with pants actually is positive development.
She's still kind of slutty in personality, so it's almost like a contradiction.
Even if it wasn't a contradiction, I just don't think it looks that good.
I'd say you could be a little older, a little wiser, but still be slutty. You know?
If I was going to make
to me,
she has to like get people to try to take her a little seriously if she's going to be in a position of power.
They're just fucking pants.
Oh look, there's the Outroll Town bike. Look a little regal. That's all.
They're just. At the end of the day, they're just pants.
The costume
why
doesn't
can you
look
not
regal,
be
though.
slutty?
It looks like it's made out of like patches and shit because she's. I
just don't understand why the pants have anything to do with sluttiness.
Well, I mean, slutty, not slutty.
Well, when you have to pry yourself out of tight leather, it's a little hard to flash your vagina at people.
Well, she doesn't flash her vagina at people. I mean, it's an attire. I mean, not.
She wanted to in that MK9 outfit.
Slutty women don't just run around with no clothes on or just a skimpy little bikini. They wear pants. They're just. Sluttiness is more about behavior and personality than pure just clothes. That is part of it, but I mean, overall, the outfit isn't like the most reserved outfit in the world.
It wouldn't make a difference for me anyway. I just don't think it looks good. If they wanted to make Melina conservative, I could have thought better ways to do it. I would have given her like some robes or like more of a I don't want to say skirt, but like a regal looking like royal skirt or some shit like that.
I don't know. I guess I just don't see it as more conservative. I feel like it has nothing to do with that at all. I just think it's a badass attire. I don't know.
To me, it looks like she's just more ready to lead an army into battle than she is to like lead a troop of harem girls onto a dance floor
or go to a damn they wear a bikini. They wear swim trunks, for God's sakes.
No, where are they going? I want to know where they're going, or go to where? No, okay.
What?
Well, how about that one beach in Deception?
Yeah, that's true.
The alternate that with her tits hanging out that was in Playboy.
Well, there was also the transforming island. They could all chill out and have some good vibrations over at the beach. But no, I was just saying Cyborg because you said they could go to and then you just stopped, and I just was wondering where they're going. I'm still wondering where they're going. You haven't answered my question.
Song lyrics.
I will not answer.
Well, I'm sad then. But Sub-Zero, yes. I really do like the character. I think, believe it or not, the most fun I've ever had playing Sub-Zero was the MK9 demo. Because I just fell in love with that gameplay style. I still love playing Sub-Zero to this day, but I just, oh man, I was so worried MK9 was going to feel stiff and just janky, and the game felt so good. And I never played anyone else in the demo. I didn't have a PlayStation 3. I had to go to my friend Praetor's house. His name's Praetor in the forums. I had to go to his place, and we would rock out with the demo. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I plan on using him a lot. Actually, I've had a change of heart with Sub-Zero. I was going to use Cryomancer. I'm thinking about using Unbreakable now, because I really like that armor. I like the idea of I can rush down, but it's a little lower risk. So I think that's going to be a lot more fun to me than just doing straight with punishing and like range moves. Although I love that too. That's what I do with the Rose in Street Fighter. So
it's the Unbreakable just basically has the icy counter move. It just has a different graphical look to it.
Well, he has an ice skin too, I think, right? I could swear I saw that in the gameplay video.
Icy aura.
Yeah, so I don't think he takes chip damage, and I think that does reduce damage on combos. I think. It's been a while since I've reviewed the variation. Honestly, I don't think it looks that great, but I like the idea. I think graphically it could look a little better. You know, I thought his whole body was going to look like his mask, but that would have maybe looked stranger. But yeah, that's my take on Sub-Zero. I really love the character. I've had a great time using him in every game. Favorite costume? Deception. I love his new one. I love a lot of his costumes. The only one I straight up am not crazy about, but still doesn't look bad, is probably MKX. It is primary. That's the only one where I'm just not like really marching for. And favorite fatality? MK2, Freeze, Shatter. I wish we could have that back, and hopefully it will come back as a brutality. But that is the definitive Sub-Zero fatality. Although, once again, they're all good. I love the Ice Grenade. I think the one Razor mentioned is really overlooked and really underrated. That's a really good fatality. Again, he only has one really bad one, and that's the MK9. I'm going to rip out your spine and skull, even though your head's still intact. I thought that looked really weird.
Yeah, I always
sense
that bothers me whenever like he does the spine rip and the skull comes out, because it happens in the Shaolin Monks opening cinema 2, and like the head is still intact. Like, couldn't they at least animate it to go like floppy, like the skin is there but it's empty?
Yeah, and the dude's dead anyway. But what's up, Shadowloo?
I'm still putting that one in the same boat as I do the MKDA skeleton rip out of the back.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad too. That one doesn't make any sense.
That was. I feel myself losing IQ points looking at that.
Well, at least the skin goes rubbery in that one. It's like it's sort of like an MK3 fatality.
But at least Kano did it through the mouth, you know? But I think IGN made that like top 10 fatalities of all time. I'm like, shut the fuck up,
I feel
IGN.
like pulling the skeleton out of the back would be way easier than out through the mouth.
Well, they're both very hard. I mean, they're both very practical.
They're both varying levels of dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Sub-Zero.
All right, for me, Sub-Zero, always one of my favorite characters. He's usually 2 or 3 in terms of just throughout the entire series. I've always really, really enjoyed Sub-Zero. I'm a big fan of like ice powers, and that translates over several forms of media, just different characters from different shows or series, etc., different games. I love cryomancers, but I'm not huge into people that use fire, so I don't know. That's just what I prefer. I think just snow is, in general. Like I've said before, I love the dead woods. I love snowy environments. So I guess it's just like the cold atmosphere. I just think is quite appealing looking and visually aesthetic. Like the aesthetic is just really appealing to me. As far as Sub-Zero the character, I've liked Kuai Yang a lot. His development over the series is fun, and his outfits have always been really badass, like everyone has said. He hasn't really had a bad outfit. His MKX outfit, his primary, is probably one of my least favorites, if not my least favorite. I'll agree to that. Then again, I didn't really care too much for his Deception alternate, the one where he's completely bald but a long-ass like white ponytail for some reason, so that
was always really goofy. Yeah. I don't know why.
I liked what they were trying to go for, but they didn't pull it off.
Yeah, it was just weird, and if I'm remembering correctly, that outfit particularly had like a tealish blue instead of a normal blue. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. For some reason, yeah, I'd say that and the MKX primary are probably my 2 least favorites of the entire series. But yes, as far as his moves, I've always loved his moveset. I loved the Ice Clone, the Freeze Ball, of course, the Slide. I loved the Tombstone Ice Drop in MK vs. DC, even though it was just odd. But I mean, I like the visual aesthetics looked really cool. The Ice Block was interesting, like a play up on the Ice Shower almost. And the Ice Clone is just such a fun move to trap people with, and in general, just a visually appealing, cool looking move.
I really miss the MK3 Ice Shower.
Yeah, I mean, he's just had such a great moveset over even the Cold Shoulder in Deadly Alliance, and then I loved his throw in Deadly Alliance. It was the weirdest thing. For some reason, I remember when people got to play Deadly Alliance early, and it was before we ever saw his throw or anything, the first person to describe it, everyone was just like, are you serious? Like, is that a real thing? Is that, it just sounded like such a joke. But then it was so cool when you actually saw that he just literally just like surfs or skateboards on his opponent on like an ice track. It's just such a interesting throw for Sub-Zero that most people wouldn't have ever predicted or like expected. So it's just the character himself has had such cool repertoire of moves and
I'm always a little disappointed the surfboard throw never came back.
Yeah, and that's why I love his fatality in MKX, his second one, where he jumps on him like that, and the ice spikes and everything is just such a beautiful fatality. I love it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm quite excited for it. But overall, yeah, I mean, like I said, Sub-Zero is one of my favorite characters. Just love him top to bottom. He's always a go-to character for me. I always play Sub-Zero in every single game. Usually my first match in every single game that he's been in is just, I always choose Sub-Zero first because he's always just so familiar. He's like the comfort food. You can always, it's your bed, really. I mean, you go and you just feel so comfortable and at home every time you play that character. Just as I'm sure Scorpion fans that have played Scorpion throughout the series always play as him right off the bat and feel like, it's just they feel right at home. They feel like, oh, this is the MK I've known and loved for so long. For me, Sub-Zero brings that feeling because right away you know how to throw an ice ball. You know how to do the slide usually. The ice clone, etc. Even the ice puddle was a lot of fun for classic Sub. But yeah, just
if Sub's a bed, though, he's a very cold and lonely bed with everyone that he ever loved gone.
Right. And then in MK9, they did the ice puddle, but instead had it like freeze the opponent's feet. So that was an interesting play on that particular special. Just overall, yeah, I love Sub-Zero as a character. I think he's one of the most iconic characters in gaming, especially for Mortal Kombat, right there with Scorpion, of course. And favorite attire would be MK vs DC. It's a tough toss-up for me between MK Deadly Alliance's Old Man maskless attire and MK vs DC. I thought MK vs DC was like a best culmination of all of his attires kind of elements. I love the padded under, like almost the scale mail looking under padding, and then the V part had a really cool design, the black, the gray, or the black, the silver, and the blue, of course. Just I think that works really well for him.
It's very similar to, like, it's sort of a combination of his Deadly Alliance ninja outfit and the Shaolin Monk's outfit.
Which are three of my favorites as well.
And I really like that he was actually, like, blind in the scar eye.
Yeah.
Like, it was sort of like cataract, or there was almost like an icy texture to it.
Right. So yeah, I mean that attire just was perfect because I do like the Shaolin Monks one too. Like I said, I like just about every one of his attires, but for me, MK vs DC was just a nice combination of several elements from several attires, and I just really liked that look for him. It separated itself from Scorpion, who was very bony and like sharp edges and chains and all that, whereas Sub-Zero had the padding with the nice silver accents, and I don't know, it just really worked for him. And for favorite fatality, that's tough for me because I want to say Sub-Zero the character, maybe not Kuai Yang, but I guess I would still say Kuai Yang because MK4's head rip is my favorite head rip. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with that just because I really do like the alternate or the second one in MKX a lot, and I think that one's going to maybe quickly become a favorite. But the head rip for me is just so damn awesome in MK4. The noises, the sound effects, the ripping.
The crunching sounds. I love that he has to tug more than once. Like, if I had to pick a favorite spine rip, I'd say MK4.
Right, and exactly, yeah. That's why I have to give him that one, because it was Kuai Yang that did that one, and that was easily the best one. And the one in MK9 was so disappointing, because, well, one, I know Jeff Keighley did the motion capture, and I do not care for Jeff Keighley, but two, that's a little side note, but two, the way it was done is he grabs him by the neck and just does like two like little light tugs, which doesn't make any sense because what's what's building the friction here? What's if he like held down on their shoulder or their feet or something, I could understand. Not that the other ones make a whole lot of sense either, but I love the older ones because, or I should say more specifically the MK4 one, because he grabs at the top of the head, almost like grabbing him by the hair, and just you hear that tugging and the ripping and just, it sounds, like you said, the crunches. That one's just awesome. And then he holds them by the top of the head.
The MK9 version is kind of flaccid.
Yeah, it's really lame. Okay, that's awkward word choice. But yes, it's really... it's just lame in comparison. That's why I don't really like doing it other than just for that classic feel. But and also, he holds him by the neck. Like, hold him by the top of the head. That just looks cool.
I'm kind of alright with grabbing at the neck, because I feel like if you're going to explain how the spine rip even works, like in terms of physics, how can you rip off a guy's head so hard the spine comes with it? It's like, well, if he like grabbed him at the neck and like crushed his fingers into their like through the skin to grab them by the spine and pulled by the spine.
Right.
I was figured he also kind of like maybe froze the interior of the throat a little.
Yeah, I always wish they'd
just
like animate some like frost to it, like he's like sends a chill down their spine and then tugs, and that's like what separates it from all the...
Yeah, that would make sense. I don't know. I just think for me, it's not the logistics behind it. It's just the execution, and also holding by the neck just doesn't look as intimidating as holding by the top of the head. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the classic image is him holding him by the top of the head that sticks.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
that's what really makes it for me, too.
The MK1 and the MK4 were both by the top of the head, so that's what sticks out to me as the classic head rip closing image, him just holding his one arm up with the head, with the spine dangling down. So that's why I like that more than just him holding his fucking hand around their neck.
The thing that bothers me the most about the MK9 version, and I say this pretty much every time we play on stream, is that it doesn't even look like a spine, it looks like a tentacle.
Yeah, it's got all the meat attached and everything, so you don't really see the definition of the bone and all that. It's definitely weird, but ultimately, yeah, that's my favorite fatality still, and I do hope they do it justice again, because that MK9 one definitely was a very flat, like you said, version of what once was a really
flaccid,
great.
But okay, flat is close enough.
Flat, yes.
I think it looks okay, but I'm with you. I really don't like Jeff Keighley. I mean,
Jeff Keighley?
Keighley.
Whatever.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that dude.
The Dorito Pope, I believe, is the official terminology.
I didn't care for him for several reasons, but I think the Angry Joe interview set it over the top for me. It just showed how much like of a douche that guy comes across.
That was disgusting. That was just...
Yeah, he just sat there and tried... Yeah, he tried to embarrass Angry Joe. Because Jeff always gives these dumb, like, the corporate answers and always has an excuse for the stuff. And Angry Joe finally went there, called him out on these things, gave him hardball questions, and then Jeff just basically did his best to make a fool out of the person interviewing, which is the most unprofessional, douchey thing you can do. But we're not going to go on a huge rant on that, but I recommend you check that out if you want to see why.
At the time the Angry Joe interview happened, Keighley was the biggest douche. But he's since been surpassed in douchebaggery by so many video game journalists that he's actually the lesser evil now.
Perhaps. I don't follow his stuff at all anymore. Not Angry Joe, but Jeff Keighley. I don't watch game trailers, TV, or any of that stuff. I don't even watch the video game awards.
I just think when you compare Keighley to like anybody who works for Kotaku, he kind of looks a lot better.
See, I don't even.
I still don't think he's a great guy or anything.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, that was just, and seeing him do that fatality is just, the fact that it was done so shittily, but that was their direction, not his, so I don't blame him for that, but the fact that I know that it was him, because when I saw him do it in that Game Trailers TV thing, where they revealed Jax and all of that, I believe, or his Cabal, I think it was Jax, but regardless, they show him doing the motion capture for it. When he grabs the dude by the neck, I was like, please tell me that was just to, like, letting him do what he wants, and that's not the actual version they're putting in the game. And when they showed it in the game, I was like, that just looks awful. And then when I played the game, I was like, this is awful. So,
all right. Well, I would say that Shadowloo and Razor pretty much covered what makes Kuai Liang great as a character, and it's all the more upsetting when thinking about how he was done in MK9. And I'm not just talking about the fact that he was killed turned into a cyborg. I'm sorry, he was turned into a cyborg, then killed, and then turned into one of Quan Chi's revenants. I'm actually going a bit further back to how his story was done, like how he and Smoke are kind of on a, their own little mission, because Sub-Zero's story during that MK2 part was sort of revenge based, and that was mainly it. And then the fight with him and Scorpion was, I guess, interrupted, with Sector and Cyrax intervening. So it was kind of, I don't know, I just felt that his character was a lot different than, how he was kind of portrayed in the, the previous timeline. But I guess
he was basically, I know what you're saying, like the revenge thing, like Scorpion wanted revenge on Sub-Zero, and then the new Sub-Zero wanted revenge on Scorpion. It's such a shallow thing as opposed to the I am here to finish my brother's last mission, and maybe I'll find out who killed him along the way.
It seemed like they were going for kind of an obvious cycle of vengeance thing.
Yeah, but it just, like, that's not Kuai Liang's personality to be driven by that sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, I've never seen that way either.
To be all about the violence and the killing, I guess, or the, eye for an eye.
Yeah, I think it would have been nice if maybe Sub-Zero had fought, I would say, like, Reptile during that segment of the story mode, and then after beating him, that he would spare Reptile, and Scorpion would observe this, and it would kind of go back to that MK2 story.
Yeah, I mean, they did, like, the first half of that, like, he lets Reptile live, but Scorpion's not even there. And then when Quan Chi summons Scorpion up, he's just like, "What? You're not Sub-Zero." Like, he knows right away.
Yeah, I think that's pretty terrible. Yeah, Sub-Zero and MK9.
It hurt Scorpion even more than it did Sub-Zero, is the thing.
They just really do seem to be trying to veer away from that thing, like, where he's like, "Oh, I'll protect you," or whatnot. They're really selective with how much of an ass they want Scorpion to come off as from time to time. Bothers me. I feel like it was unspoken that maybe he could have been watching from the sidelines and just gone, "You're not the dude. I'll kill you anyway." Extreme.
Yeah, it's just more that, like, Scorpion has so little to do in MK9. It's always just whatever Quan Chi tells him, basically.
Yeah.
It was a problem.
It's a good thing that Scorpion is, in my opinion, a much better character in MKX, given the, comic story and all that. But going back to Sub-Zero, well, what can I say? We saw the first chapter of the story mode, with Revenant Sub-Zero and everything, and of course we find out, eventually in the story that he gets revived and, he becomes the Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei, and it makes me wonder, well, what was the point of all the stuff that happened to him in the last game?
I wonder if, like, there's two ways you could look at it. It could be like they sort of know they made a mistake, so they're just backtracking to what everybody wants from Sub-Zero. Or it could be that they're going, well, look, history has changed, but some things are just destiny. So, like, it's sort of like in the Star Trek reboot, they went, we're ending up on the same paths our past versions did, even though things changed, because that's sort of, no matter how much butterfly effect there is, things are sort of meant to be a certain way. And that's kind of an interesting idea, maybe.
I'd like that to be the case. For now, I think it's kind of a first case scenario where they really, really didn't know or expect how much we loved Kuai Liang for being the leader and the heroic character that he is. Like, it got bad enough to the relentless complaining, justified complaining, in my opinion, about him, that I remember Ed, like, posted a picture of, like, like a cyber Sub-Zero helmet, like wearing Freddy's hat, like just telling the fans not to take it so seriously. And they really, I don't think that they for a second knew how upset people would be because of that change. So I see it as backpedaling a bit, and I can't even.
Well, you know, I like to think, and I don't know if I'm right or not, but I have a really strong feeling that Sub-Zero is the most popular character, not Scorpion. Like, just because Scorpion is Ed's favorite and is the company logo, he gets all the stuff, but I really think Sub-Zero is way more popular with actual people.
No one says Sub's a boring character. That's a sentence that you never, ever hear. If he's not beloved by everyone, I can't think of a person out there who actually hates him. Not something I've ever seen. Overexposed a little. Sure, as the face of the franchise.
I've seen a lot of passionate arguments about whether or not Bi-Han should come back and be Sub-Zero, or whether, you know, who's better between him and Kwai, and I think that's kind of a lopsided argument, and yet there are still a lot of people who do like Bi-Han more, so maybe I'm, you know, not seeing something, but
I could just take either one of them.
I love Bi-Han as Noob Saibot, so I have like a really hard time swallowing the idea of him ever not being Noob.
Well, it comes down to brute resume, too. Bi-Han just hasn't done as much as Kuai Liang, you know? That's an objective fact. So what do you point at, other than mythologies?
I've made that same argument, and the people who I was talking to who were, like, the Bi-Han fans would then go, but in mythologies, you know, like, he actually saved the world, which, you know, Kuai Liang never really faces the main villain, never really, you know, it's always a side quest with him. He's not actually that important, whatever he's doing. Whereas, you know, Bi-Han, you know, he fought 4 gods in one, 5 if you count Shinnok. You know, he was cleaning up his own mess. But...
Exactly. You got to look at his motivations. He was doing that because he fucked up. And I mean, I don't hold that against him. I like the character, but
I don't think it makes him any less interesting, though.
I think it's they always bring it up more as like a feat of strength sort of argument, or like this, you know, he did something really important. Whereas, again, he wouldn't have done it if he didn't create the situation in the first place.
To me, it's a perspective thing. Because I find both sides of the assassin perspective point of view equally interesting. Like, how many, like, hired ninjas have gone through the series as, like, just being assassins? They're always sidetracked. They're getting killed, or they're getting turned into things, or they're bodyguards, or what have you. I mean, I find it interesting to see, like, from Kuai Liang's perspective, I'm a killer, but I don't like doing it, versus Bi-Han, I'm a killer, and I love what I do. This is why, I mean, I would not ever object to having him back, just for a game. I'm not going to make a priority or anything. I don't play favorites between the two of them, but I'm just saying. There's a reason why I can't see either one of them as being the definitive Sub-Zero. To me, it's more of a mantle than it is an identity devoted to one person. But that's...
I feel like it would be fine to have like a flashback game where you're playing as him as Sub-Zero again, but I feel like if you ever really brought him back to life, you can't turn him back into Noob. You can't, like, you know, his life can't be I was Sub, then I was Noob, then I was Sub again, then I was Noob again. That would be silly as hell. And I would never ever throw Noob Saibot away. Just not even think about it.
Well, there was a time when I thought that we would never see Hanzo Hasashi as a person. But now he's all shifting back and forth in the comics, so I think anything's fair game.
I think the fact that he has the actual power to transform, like he's not actually alive. He's sort of in between.
I'm saying the precedent's there.
I don't know. And again, like I'm really not a fan of the idea that Noob Saibot could be like the Venom symbiote and split off from Bi-Han when he comes back to life and become its own character. I have multiple times said I lost interest in Soul Calibur specifically because Siegfried isn't Nightmare anymore. SC3 was where I cut myself off from the series because I just saw the plot was going nowhere and backwards at the same time, and that was sort of the symbol of it.
See, at the same time, though, I mean, I do remember that time period when, for a number of games where Noob Saibot was just Noob Saibot. In fact, that was a very, very long time throughout MK's history. So
yeah, but
I'm used to seeing Noob as a guy who is not Bi-Han. And yeah, they're synonymous, and you wouldn't hear me disagreeing with it, but if they wanted to tell that story, I would have less resistance to it than most people, because I don't know. I just knew him that way for very many years.
I don't know. It's
That's
just
it.
when Noob Saibot was just Noob Saibot,
Yeah,
he
was
didn't
a
have his
henchman.
own story. He wasn't anybody.
He wasn't, but he was still an interesting figure.
He was an interesting design, and he had some cool moves in Trilogy. That's kind of all he
really
was
broken
until
moves.
Deception.
I'm not saying they didn't break the mold when they made that Deception reveal, because it was the best thing that's ever happened to Noob, by far. But, it wasn't like
It
I
was so
considered him
genius, I can't believe it wasn't planned from the start, because it fits so well with the plot of Mythologies.
It did. But Noob had his role to play, and yes, he was a henchman. But hell, people still love Baraka, and what the hell's he ever done? What the hell's Reptile?
Yeah, but why do people love Baraka?
Them spikes, them teeth. But we're getting very, very, very far off the topic of Kuai Liang, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So so going back to him, well, I kind of want to get into a little bit about his role in MKX's story, especially considering some of the dialogue bits that we've heard, in previous months. Like, I would say mainly between him and Raiden, this whole thing, like, that there's this dynamic where it seems like Sub-Zero is trying to be the protector, and he's kind of like he becomes like a rival to Raiden, and I wonder how that's going to play out.
I don't know if he himself is sort of looking for the role so much as just when he's faced with Raiden in a fight, he's still bitter about the way MK9 went, which if you were one of the guys who died, yeah, you would be.
Yeah, this actually gets to some. Now that we're on the subject of like Sub-Zero and Raiden, that I mentioned this to Cyborg a few days ago because there's something I posted on the forums a while back that, I came up with this thought that that Raiden has become the Frank Drebin of Mortal Kombat. So,
I kind of like that.
I wish that was, but I don't.
It's the Naked Gun movie,
right? Yeah.
Nielsen.
Oh, right. Never mind. I'm like, professional wrestler? Jesus. No,
Those
yes,
movies.
I
I
can
revisit
see
those
that now.
movies.
Been a very
Well,
long.
you should. Again, you're making a mistake, son.
Does IGN have the Naked Gun films too? I don't know what to do.
I think that should be the title of this week's episode. You're making a mistake, son.
Oh,
I'm actually kind of really almost tempted to call this both a Bihan and a Kuai Liang retrospective because we've discussed both of them to some length.
That's true.
And then we have to actually go and pick favorite noob fatalities and costumes as well.
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten that yet. But going more to the story, yeah, his Lin Kuei clan seems to be much different now in that it's its own kind of force that is working separately from the Special Forces group, as opposed to how it was in the old timeline where Sub-Zero's Lin Kuei, was on Team Raiden. And I actually kind of like that. And, I sort of think that this Lin Kuei clan can be a little bit similar to Ra's al Ghul's League of Shadows. And I kind of wanted Sub-Zero's beard to kind of, look like how it was in Batman Begins.
Have the goatee parts that hang down, the separate.
Yeah, but kind of in a very faintly so, not so obvious. It's kind of a nice little nod. I don't know. I just thought I think
Could
that
have
would
put some white streaks in there.
Yeah, I
He's
think that would
supposed
look
to be
nice.
like 50 years old.
Yeah, he aged pretty well. Actually, I kind of wonder though, will he have the dragon medallion?
Well, I think, and I wonder the design of the medallion in his Grandmaster style. I wonder if it'll look different from costume to costume, because the glowing medallion he gets as Grandmaster on his primary, we've seen just has a Lin Kuei logo on it. But that's also not the costume he wears when he is the Grandmaster, because it doesn't have a scar. So I wonder if maybe when you're playing as his alt costume, it will have a dragon on it.
I hope so. I really hope so. For his gameplay, I definitely want to try, all of his variations. I see him he has kind of fewer special moves overall, so I kind of think of him as being sort of the Guile of the game, if that makes any sense. That he has very few moves, but they can be really effective.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, for the longest time... Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because he got so many moves in MK3, but he really is basically freeze and slide, and then everything else is sort of interchangeable from game to game. Things get swapped out here and there, and I mean...
He's got a pretty set repertoire. It's not like Scorpion where they just sort of build on it with every game.
Yeah. I wish that for his Grandmaster variation that he would have the Icy Pillar in addition to the Ice Clone, because I like that combination in Armageddon.
A nice little mix-up going, yeah.
Yeah, because if it weren't for the whole sidestepping element of Armageddon, that combination would have made him pretty powerful. I hope that in future games that, he has his Ice Shower back, and he has ice spike moves. I like how in the first season of Legacy where Quan Chi disguised as Bi-Han crouched down and did that kind of ground pound, and you had the ice spikes flowing.
He made a line of spikes.
Yeah, I like that. And
I think Killer Frost does something like that in Injustice. She has a lot of ground spike moves. I know that.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they kind of added more to his to Ice Clone in Grandmaster. It actually goes back to an idea I had way back when, because I think of Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, where Link has that red cane that makes a block of fire, and you can push it, pull it, and throw it, or you can kind of make it explode in 4 fireballs. So it's kind of like that. So I'm really glad.
I like really that it blocks projectiles now. You can actually hide behind the Ice Clone, and that's sort of something I've always wanted to see, that it would be more solid as opposed to just sort of another projectile floating out there that things pass right through.
Much more tangible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes me think of funny enough, MK Annihilation, when the Ice Clone was broken by Scorpion Spear, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's true. Out of all things, MK Annihilation got it right first.
Well,
that's a sobering thought.
Except for the fact that the spear was 2 snakes made of stone.
To be fair,
I like how that was their solution to how do we make Scorpion even cooler in the second movie? Let's give him 2 snakes.
Suckers.
They should put that line in a future game.
I can see
waiting for the day.
That.
One day they'll be able to poke fun at themselves for that movie. It's going to happen.
What I would like them to do is put Zebron in, and all of his lines are a bad line from the movie and the cartoon, and the MK4 endings, where he's yelling "combat time" and then
don't fuck with combat time. It's almost
some of his entrances. Time. He's going, "I am not a zebra of my word."
If Tim Curry's doing the voice, I'd be all for that.
You challenge me? This will never happen again.
I have no use for excuses.
Too bad you will die.
Oh boy. That movie. Just touching on something real quick from the old timeline, or I guess that could have possibly had been a direction for the new timeline, is the dynamic between Kuai Liang and Sector. That kind of rivalry. Because I think that about how in Deception that Chujinko trained under Sub-Zero's ancestor, who was a Grandmaster, and then it seems like sometime later that Sector's father becomes Grandmaster. So, I kind of wonder if this is
I'm not sure if that Sub-Zero was a Grandmaster, because there was those guys in the red and black robes also standing around.
It's going to bother me till the end of time. I hope to God we get that Kuai Liang versus Sector fight in flashback format.
Yeah, like...
I want that payoff. They can't do this 2 timelines in a row. Just say, he whipped his ass off screen.
They're putting it in the comic. That's their answer for why it's not in the game. Although there may be a flashback cutscene. It's not going to be playable, because...
No.
Then they'd have to put Sector in the game. And why would there be a Cyber Ninja in a Mortal Kombat game? That's silly.
You know, they could always just cheap out and just put the character's skin there with someone else's moves and not give them the specials. You know, there are shortcuts, but it would make people antsy, and I can understand that they wouldn't want to do that.
He could be a skin for Jackie. She clearly has most of his stuff.
This is true.
Yeah, that's I wonder what that's all about. But I guess we'll find out in, well, since it's already the next day, we'll find out in this afternoon stream. I hope. But sorry, I could probably go on and on about Sub-Zero as well, or Kuai Liang specifically. Well, just to wrap it up, for favorite costumes, he, you know, as I was hearing you guys talk about them, I was kind of wondering which one is my favorite, because I do like a lot of them. I do like the Shaolin monks look a lot. You know, that's kind of a neat costume. But I kind of have to side with Shadowloo with the Deadly Alliance alternate.
Nice, Brofist.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just a really cool, no pun intended, of course, look. You know, of course, he has the frozen arms.
Dude, earlier Rachel said chills down the spine. I think I can forgive you for that one.
I was surprised that you held it in, because that was completely deliberate.
I actually bit my lip a little bit.
Yeah, his MKX primary is kind of, it's not terrible, but it's just kind of off to me. I guess a little bland-ish. So I'll probably go with the alternate plus you know, whatever other skins that they have. But for fatalities, that's a really good question. I really like that. Well, I like both of his MKX fatalities, but I do kind of prefer that, you know, bed of spikes, of ice spikes. That's really nice. But I'd say aside from that, you know, I kind of have to maybe go with his other deception fatality, the one where he, you know, rips the head off like a, you know, throws it like a baseball.
Nice.
I do really like that one too.
Yeah, and I think
the back 1 foot slide is what really makes it. It's that extra touch of class and style.
I like how, again, he has to like twist the head a couple times to get it to pop off. Like when they add the little bit of struggling to the animation, that always sort of gets to me. Like because it adds that little bit of realism.
Yeah, I like touches like that. Yeah, it's like Sub-Zero is a excellent baseball pitcher and a surfboarder. I mean, go figure. And now he's voiced by Steve Blum.
And he carries around a box of matches and just lights shit on fire when he feels like it. Sub's a man of many talents, Kuai Liang. Definitely. And I just like busting and say once again that like the Blood Icicle is still my favorite X-ray of them all, I think. Just, it's so wonderful and ingenious and really
it's like my
painful.
least favorite.
I love it.
Cyborg and
really
Stamp
love
are
it.
not fond of it because it is kind of a repeat of what he did in 9, just with a little more, like, again, he's grabbing your guts out of you.
I feel like they just could have done better. I think there's so much creativity and...
See, it's using your own body functions as a weapon against you, which is what I really enjoy. That's what makes it a little bit ingenious for me.
Well,
I mean, sure, reaching in and like crushing your liver is one thing, but he hurts you. He impales you with your own solidified blood.
That's the only the solidified blood's the only good part in my opinion. I think the idea of him once again reaching in and freezing and crushing your organ, starting it off the exact same way, I don't like that. It's just they did it. They just did it. And then 2, I don't like that he stabs you in the eye because we've seen 3 or 4 X-rays so far stabbing in the eyes. I don't know. There's more creative options.
The only part that I really remembered was like the blood icicles, so maybe I'm being a little bit overzealous.
And also, was it blood? I thought it was his entrail that he pulled out.
I'm sure it's
it's some intestine. It's a chunk of like intestine and stuff, and
yeah, that just kind of.
I'm gonna look at that again.
I mean, visually, you're definitely right, but I can swear Ed Boon said it was intestine.
But
visually, you're correct though. It does look like blood. What's up?
Well, yeah, like I said, the freezing of blood or whatever it is, making an icicle, that, like I said, that's the best part, but that's one of 3 technically parts, and the other 2 just happen to be 1, which he just had in the last game, and 2, which is like the cut down the middle in this game, which is eye poke stuff.
I can't call it the best X-ray in a game that has Shinnok bitch slapping you and Jack's doing the power bomb, man.
There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good
so
ones.
many great X-rays.
And Reagan too.
Slap.
Yeah, Shinnok's still the best.
I like Luke. I like Liu Kang's a lot. I like.
Luz is great. Like it's got like 10 hits.
Yeah, I like Kung Lao's.
He just won't stop smacking you around.
Right.
Aaron Black might be my second favorite.
Aaron Black's is good.
Kung Lao's even. I think we all kind of forgot about Kung Lao's X-ray, but it's one of the best.
Katana's is pretty cool. I love how she throws them in your neck and then shoves you down into the ground, making them go into your neck even further.
Maybe I'm just
really feeling Katanas.
Maybe just really fucking tired because I forgot completely about the Aaron Black bullet with the name on. How could I forget that? You know what? I can't pick a fucking favorite one. I really can't.
Like we could go through the whole roster and be all 25 are my favorite. We haven't even seen like.
Yeah, I've said for a while Sub is one of my least favorites, if not my least favorite. I don't know why. It's just like, well, I do know why, but I don't know why they chose to go that same exact route again.
Yeah, it's an alright X-ray. I mean, they probably could have done something a little bit different, but I guess they kind of want to.
I mean, it's just like Sub-Zero's fatalities for the most part throughout the games have been very similar too. So. It's like there's so much creativity with ice powers, yet they always fall back into that like safe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters where they repeat fatalities because they're the classics. Like, how many games does Johnny not have the head punch and torso rip? You know.
I don't know. With Sub, it just seems like it's for some reason such a character that you could do so much with, like the ice powers. Once again, like the fact that it took him forever to create a bed of ice spikes and knock your opponent onto it. I don't know why that even took so long, but especially because he had an ice spike way back when, so I don't know. It's just weird. They do that with him for some reason. But anyways, that wraps up the character retrospective. And Temp, I believe you would like to ask this gentleman a couple questions.
Well, did we get the favorite fatality?
Yeah, he said the first deception one.
Yes, of course.
Baseball head.
Right.
All right, well, we know your favorite character is. Who's your second favorite character?
Wow. That's something I have to really think about. I mean, I guess wow, that's a tough one.
Well, if this is a tough one, the next question is going to be a doozy.
All right, well, let me say, I probably would have said Ermac because of Deception, because I really, really like what they did with him.
Agreed, definitely. Okay. That brings us to the the second question. The first question always is, who's your favorite character? But so to wrap it up, I believe you're a history guy, right? That's your background?
I was very much into the story, the character's mythology, and I still am. I guess I'm a lot more cynical towards the series in general, but at the same time kind of optimistic. But I have grown to appreciate the gameplay aspects, especially as I've played some other fighting games. And also I was known for talking about the martial arts stuff, especially back in the 3D era of MK games. Although I think that people kind of made me out to be more of an expert than what I really am. I just really happen to love, martial arts.
Well, I meant like in real life. Like you have like a background in like a degree in history or something like that. I think I read that somewhere, right?
No, that's definitely not me. No, I'm just right now. I don't even know if I could even tell you guys what I do for a living, because I don't know if you guys would believe me, but not that it's anything special, because it's not. But that's
Male
neither here
porn
nor
star.
there. You would look at me and then you would look at what I do, and it's like, what?
Beekeeper.
If you're a porn star, I have a question for that. But if you're not, I can swap that out.
No,
What
nothing
is your
like
name? Your stage name?
that. Oh no! See, I could go into some really funny jokes, but I think it would just take too long. Oh
Okay.
boy!
Well, we'll stick with the question anyway, even if you're not a history guy. If you could pick anyone from history, from Greek to American to British to Mongolian, and you can main them in a fighting game, who would you main?
An actual historical figure.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. You really are giving me some juicy questions, and so in the middle of the night, usually I'd be dead as well. No, I probably have insomnia. Who am I kidding? But I main in a fighting game. See, if you had asked me about like fictional characters, I have just the guy that I'm thinking of.
Well, we can do that then. Let's roll with that. Who would you?
Okay. Have you guys ever seen Magic
Genghis
Crystal?
Khan.
I've seen
Magic
Dark
Crystal.
Crystal. I've never seen Magic Crystal.
Okay, it was an 80s martial arts movie starring Cynthia Rothrock.
Oh, I know her.
I'd seen some clips on YouTube, and it's so goofy. I mean, the fighting action is great, but the bad guy is something Norton, and I think he's like an Australian actor, but yeah, he keeps making like I guess in one of the dubs, like he makes these airplane noises, like kind of thing. I want to see him in a fighting game, because apparently his character is supposed to be Russian, but he sounds like Italian or something, like he's part of the KGB, and
That sounds like a Cynthia Rothrock villain for sure.
Yeah, and then I was shocked to learn when I saw the movie that the movie has a plot about aliens who have British accents, which is ridiculous. I had no idea.
And it's called the Magic Crystal.
Yes.
Sounds legit.
I'm a big Red Letter Media fan, so that's how I know Cynthia Rothrock, but that sounds amazing, and I will check that out.
I know her by name from Boon and Tobias Go, and she was the inspiration for Sonya, but I've never actually watched any of her stuff.
Oh, you got to check the Magic Crystal out. It's a trip.
Apparently, I got to see this Italian Australian KGB guy who makes airplane noises.
Cindy Morgan, you think you can stop me? But the KGB would always back me up. No, he doesn't say that, but he does kind of talk like that. He tries to bribe a child with ice cream.
Good times.
Yeah, I'll probably maybe give you guys a link to a couple of the clips because they are priceless.
Absolutely.
Anything else, Tim?
No, that's all I got.
I thought you were gonna wait till he was about to wrap it up and then go, wait, I've got one more.
I was thinking, but I got nothing. I couldn't think of anything crazy.
All right. Well,
can we go back to the porn name one? Because I think I've got a really good one if you do that, like your first pet and your street. Apparently, my porn name would be Rufus Ridge.
Sorry, it's what? And that's a really good one.
Mine was Snowball Pharaoh.
Your pen name and your street.
That's more like a title than a guy.
Hang on. What's the formula?
It's the name of your first pet for your first name, and then your last name is the street you grew up on.
This is some graveyard shit right here.
yeah, what the hell is this?
Street you grew up on.
All right, well, that'll do it for this episode. I want to thank Sub-Zero the 7 for coming on, of course.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep, you guys can find us on Facebook/Netherkast and on Twitter and Twitch. So we'll be streaming on Twitch from now on, and then we might upload them to YouTube from there. So you guys will know when we're doing that. Especially when MKX rolls around. We'll probably have at least one more MK9 stream beforehand, just maybe leading into MKX that weekend before, or something like that. But this has been episode 24, so you guys have a good one.
It could be a French porn star name.